All right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. You might have just heard young Patrick Price say, "Let's do it." That's because Nike is our new sponsor. No, it's not. That'd be hilarious. We all just wear Nike gear. Anyhow,
Just
we are back.
Track suits.
Oh my god, we should do that.
I just get the swoosh on my hat.
All of us are just in like the Slav squat as like stream starts.
Hell yeah.
Does Nike make athletic fedoras? Do they have those? They gotta have those.
no,
It's
that's
part of our
Adidas.
partnership. We'll put it in the contract.
There we go. There we go. God, wouldn't that be just the most random thing? This little tiny little streamer, suddenly Nike is sponsoring them. That'd be amazing. But yeah, we're not talking about Nike anymore. Let's shift gears. We're talking about Call of Cthulhu, and we've got some Eternal Lies tonight, and we are at an interesting point as there has been discussion on what to do. But no resolution on what to do. So we're going to take that discussion that was done off air, out of character. We're going to probably put it in character and put it on there and see what happens. Because yeah, it's a real interesting situation you guys have found yourselves in.
So there's a different outcome. There's a conclusion.
It's an interesting situation. Okay, so let's jump in because I want to do. Let's just dive in because the possibility. Mexico City could be done tonight. We'll see. See how it goes. Last time around, morning had come after a very difficult and violent night at La Paz. We saw that Marie hadn't returned to her hotel. Bev and Patrick, you went to the local police station to try to sort out what was up. Shima, Pastor Wood, you stayed behind to start going through some of the materials that the two of you discovered inside Jonathan Brooks' apartment. We cut over to Marie, who was in this communal jail cell, and she started having this weird experience, these muffled sounds of chanting, mostly in a language she didn't understand, but she did hear certain words and phrases, mostly names, her own, Walter Winston, some of her friends, and even her cat. She found the source of it to be a ragged man in the corner, he had a big coat on and bare feet, and he was sleeping, though, and the sound was coming from his chest, so when she opened the flap of that coat, she saw a large shark-like mouth, or I should say a large mouth with shark-like teeth in the torso, and that snapped at her. She dodged out of the way of that, but in the process, the man's head rolled off his shoulders and underneath a bench within that cell. Marie started panicking, as you might expect. The guard told her to quiet the hell down, and when she looked back to where the man was, he was gone, and it was just this darkened water stain on the wall and on the floor. Out in the station, meanwhile, Bev and Patrick, you met with Detective Gomez, who seems to be the detective who's been in charge of the arson case that involved Jorge Novo's death, but now has kind of branched out and broadened to other things. So you spoke with him. Bev, you offered some additional information. However, it conflicted with what Marie was telling, and so there was some uncertainty about whether he can trust you. He did let Marie out, so you put her bail up, but assigned you all Officer Blanco and essentially a police escort and wouldn't let you leave town, is sort of the idea. So back at the hotel, Shima and Pastor Wood, you read through a bunch of correspondence between Jonathan Brooks and a bunch of other people. So there's some with Trammell, who you all met and experienced back in LA. SS, this initials that you've seen pop up every now and then and seems to correspond possibly with Bangkok. And then Sancho Dominguez, who at this point you know is one of Brooks's men that he sent out on some kind of expedition in the Yucatan in Merida. Shima, you were able to do some of the iconography on this like charcoal mountain sketch, referenced these animals and symbols that were consistent with a bunch of different Mesoamerican cultures like Maya, Aztec, etc. And you also kind of intuited at one point, based upon your own cultural heritage, that in one of his letters, Jonathan was probably referencing or possibly referencing Mount Kailash. Maybe, kind of, sort of. There was like some blotchiness. It was kind of unclear exactly why it was, but it seemed to be a significant site. Neither of you, however, was able to decipher the text on that charcoal sketch. Pastor Wood, you recognize the language as Nahuatl. However, you don't speak it. And you tried to contact Elena, your cousin, to see if she could translate it, because her lineage, her mother, and your wife come from sort of a Nahuatl family. And you were unable to get a hold of her. You left a message at the hospital. It was kind of an awkward moment because you forgot the name of her boyfriend. Later, the group reunited. Bev, you were able to decode the strange message on the Leticia de la Luz album, referencing something called Gozumol. Shaima then headed to the police station to speak with Detective Gomez after making an appointment to have a conversation with him. And she was very forthcoming with the accounts at La Paz, but he was also very sympathetic, and he basically said that you acted courageously. All like testimony of people around says that you were defending people. And he also just more like theoretically talked about how killing should never come easy or be forgotten, but it's something that is sometimes necessary. As you were leaving, you ran into Elena, who had been also pulled into the police station to sort of put in some kind of testimony. And she mentioned that Hernando was going into some kind of police custody, and that maybe Pastor Wood was right. And now she's thinking of leaving Mexico City, perhaps to follow Octavio to Merida. Back at the hotel, Patrick, Pastor Wood, you concocted a plan to sneak out of the hotel and bypass Officer Blanco, aided by Bev. Then the two of you drove over to the address that Hernando had gave you, which he suspected of being Brooks' hidden studio. You went over there, you saw that there were two structures that were sitting right next to each other, or I should say close to each other at this T intersection. There was this old ruined hacienda, and then there was this more modern, dilapidated blue and yellow house. And while you were driving past, your eagle eyes were able to notice that through the window, there were all sorts of men and women with guns, including some heavy-duty Thompson machine guns. So I can't remember if Pastor Wood and Patrick Price went all the way back, but I think the last we saw of them, they were having dinner at a nearby restaurant, which apparently is called a Fonda, I think, which is like a family-owned restaurant in a neighborhood. I don't know if that's right. If I'm wrong, apologies. So we'll say Pastor Wood and Patrick, I'm going to give you a second here. Are the two of you still there, or do you eventually work your way back to the hotel?
Patrick was against us poking around outside of the vehicle, right?
I was.
And this whole expedition was his idea. So Pastor Wood would cede to Patrick's decision there. So if I'm saying that I'd be ready to go back to the hotel whenever we're done.
I would take us back then, because we're not equipped.
Okay. So we'll say that the two of you, after you finish your meal, you get back in your car and you start driving back. You park in the rear parking lot. Remember, there's that parking lot in the back of your new hotel. And then you try to sneak your way inside. And I do mean that. I need a sneak test from both. I need both of you to try to stealth your way back in.
Why are we sneaking back in?
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Well, I mean, we're already back. Is there a point that...
Yes.
I mean, that's on him for not seeing us leave, isn't it?
No. Do you want to just...
I don't want to be questioned by him yet.
Said, let me know when you are leaving.
I mean,
Sometimes
I don't see why we need to jump through the loops, but if Patrick wants to be stealthy, then I guess we'll be stealthy.
Frankly, I think you're on the right track by not sneaking.
Thank you, my Trey.
Wow.
Right.
I just hit stealth 77 on 77.
I genuinely don't understand the thought process there. Like, if you guys snuck out without telling the cop, like, okay. All right. Anyhow,
we didn't
Patrick,
sneak out. We walked out the front door and he didn't see us. That's on him. I passed.
Okay. You passed. Patrick, 77 on 77. Okay. Let me do a little roll to see if he notices you as you guys come in, as I do have stats for him.
Man.
Okay. So, Patrick, you have a regular success. Pastor,
Right.
would you have an extreme success? What was it again? What was your total?
Mine was regular as well. It was 45 under 77.
Okay. You come in and you realize that maybe Bev's not there anymore. Maybe Bev went up to the room. It's been a little time. But you notice that there is Officer Blanco in the lounge. You can see he's got like a cup of coffee and it looks like he probably had something to eat. He's got his newspaper out. He's reading. He's just kind of flipping through it here and there. And occasionally he looks up and you can tell he's like watching with a hawk, like with hawk's eyes. And the two of you try to go back the way you came, but in doing so, like you kind of bump into one of the hotel staff. And it's not like it makes this loud noise or anything, but they start talking to you. And like you can see like, oh, begging your pardon, so very sorry. And like they're bending down and kind of picking up towels and things like that. And Officer Blanco turns his head and kind of looks over, and he's like, is there something do you need help? Can I help you with something? And then you guys think you're still kind of obscured by some of the columns and things like that, but he is now in the process of getting up and walking towards you. How do you want to get out from under this?
I'll just continue on. If he sees us, he sees us.
Okay.
That's how I was feeling too.
Okay. He sees you walk past. No. Yeah. That's the word, Mr. Price. Come here.
Good evening, Officer Blanco.
Did you just come into
What can we do for you?
Oh, we just came down to the lobby for some concierge.
The stairs are over there.
We just did a lap, trying to stretch. We didn't want to leave without your permission.
Roll a fast talk.
All right, I'm really good at least. So that's an 81. I needed a 5.
Would you like to spend 76 points of luck?
I don't have 76 points of luck, unfortunately.
Maybe push it?
You can push it if you like.
Pushing it would make it worse.
If you failed.
Only if you fail.
And you can't spend luck on a push.
What are the odds of failing?
Really
I think
low.
it's 95%.
No, it's
The
really,
troll in me really
low.
wants to do this, but
Okay.
it was Patrick's idea, so I guess I can do it with guilt-free, right?
Why?
Let's push it.
I don't understand what's happening tonight. Like, I
was
don't get it.
joking.
Either.
I thought it was very clear. I was joking.
It's a 70.
Okay. And he looks at you, and he steps closer, and he's like, you wouldn't happen to be lying to me, would you?
No, of course not.
Man of God, huh? No, I don't think you have been telling the truth. I have been looking at that place for quite some time now since... And he thinks back. Since Dr. Key left me alone. And he kind of looks over at Patrick. He's got this... My good man, you perhaps think that I am your enemy. Perhaps you think that Detective Gomez is your enemy. We have been nothing but kind to you. Detective Gomez has been nothing but kind to you. We have tried to protect you. We have tried to protect the citizens of the city. And at each step of the way, you and your group has obstructed us. We have found you at places of violence where Mexican citizens have died, and yet you are living. We ask you one simple thing, to stay in your rooms, and if you wish to leave, to contact us and let me know. Either myself or somebody else can go with you. You're going to return to your rooms. I'm going to put officers outside of those rooms. And I'm going to contact Detective Gomez and say that the one thing that he asked of you, you have not done. And then we will proceed from there. I hope you have contact with a very good lawyer, for you will need one. And perhaps it is time to contact your embassy as well. Go upstairs.
We'll see you later.
Go upstairs.
We go upstairs. I go upstairs.
Okay. So, you go upstairs, where what have Marie, Bev, and Shima been doing?
Going over just we were going over documents that we had, like we were doing like the cipher and stuff. But since then, I think we may have just been reading and relaxing. Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Like resting from gunshot wounds, like not necessarily like eating bonbons, but being in pain and resting up a bit.
Okay.
I think Shum is trying to really be useful in ways that don't involve her physicality. So she's wanting to read Trammell's or the other book, the gross book. So,
Okay, so
that's what
you're reading as well. Okay. You're reading the gross one, the nasty, wet. Okay. So let me scroll back for that one 1 second, because there is some tests that you have to do for this. Okay.
Okay.
Roll a sand test as you go through this.
Yeah. Oh god, I failed. Then I need to.
So, oh god, that's 3 points of sanity loss for Shima. As in the hour or two, while Pastor Wood and Price are gone, you read through it. You see, I'm not sure if anyone's prepared you or not, but there is it's nameless, it's vile. There's no author to it. There's both text and imagery, like sketches of the worst and most depraved acts of torture and mutilation and incest and bestiality and like necrophilia. And you can see there's pictures of mouths bleeding and oozing. Some, because of the sogginess and wetness of the pages, almost seem to move and drool themselves. And like, maybe that's what triggers it, like the memory of these different mouths, the ones in LA, for instance, like them drooling mouths. And you just see a drawing of this corpse laying asunder, and its mouth is twisted with these sharp teeth, and you see coming from it is just this little bit of ooze, discolored, wet. But you managed to read through it. There is something in here. I would say between yourself and Bev, I think read it, and Pastor Wood, I think read it. There's something buried between the lines of the text in here, as if there's something instructional, something about binding, something about and that sort of stretch of it. So, and it's at that point, I would say, as you're done reading, Bev, you're kind of making progress in some of the tomes that you hear the sounds of footsteps outside. Wood or Patrick, do you like knock on their doors, or you just go back to your rooms?
I think back to the room.
Okay.
I would group up to tell them what we saw.
Okay. Pastor Wood goes back into his room. Patrick, you hear, like, you knock on the door, you go in, you can see like Marie and Bev and Shima, like they're resting, reading, all that kind of stuff. It is nighttime or just past evening. And Patrick is free to update as he sees fit.
Got some bad guys, possibly heavily armed, at the building for Hernando told us about.
Novolov's men, presumably?
Beats me, it could be anybody, but most likely.
Ugh.
Fortunately, Officer Blanco saw us coming in. Yeah.
You guys got caught?
Might have caused a bit of trouble, but it's
happened?
all right. Maybe a bit breaking the trust, but it's okay.
I don't think so. Marie's in trouble, possibly for potential murder. Like,
I could have been put in jail 2 hours ago. And the only reason I'm not in jail is they see it differently than I see it.
I was in jail, and we haven't done anything to.
You haven't done anything, Miss Wen.
Well,
we have.
I wasn't truthful, so that's, I'm not saying that it's with all of the things that we're dealing with and the danger, and not that we needed to tell them the truth, but definitely makes them suspicious when we're untruthful. So what happened, Patrick, because you got caught coming back?
He's got to report to Superior, but they're keeping us out here for a reason. We can work with each other.
Like with Blanco?
Yeah, not just Blanco, Gomez even.
So what do you think we should tell him?
Give him maybe tip him off. What we've seen. There's danger in the city.
You already know that.
Oh, they don't know exactly where.
I can't.
Don't
Ashley
think
can't
they
recall.
know as much as we know. Maybe other things that we might not know.
Well, they know that I was shot, and they know where I was shot. They know what happened at La Paz. They know that Victor Cortez was murdered, and they know that Jorge Novo was murdered. They don't know. So, Patrick, I suppose they don't know where you just went.
Right, unless Fernando gave it up. I don't think he would. He's already told too much.
So we could...
Fernando is the only one of his band alive, is what I found out this surprise. So he might tell them.
Did you speak though?
I didn't speak to him, but I did speak with Elena.
When was this?
Elena told me that everybody else had died, been killed. So he might tell them about the studio. And is she gonna rub their head through her hair and look freeing over? Like, there's no reason for him to keep that secret if that's the reason he's being kept alive. They'll, I don't know.
I mean, we're in a tough spot. I am not doing well. I don't know that I've ever been this injured, shot. I'm not one for a fight at the moment. Dr. Key, you...
And you guys look over, and Dr. Key is like pinching the bridge of her nose because she's stressed out, and she's like, do I need to contact my attorney? Do I need to acquire representation for all of us at this point? I don't even have the contact information for the embassy. Like, if we're in hot water, we're in hot water. I can't believe he caught you guys coming back inside.
So Patrick, you're saying that if we can maybe hand over some information that does give them some leads, that maybe that'll help us?
Don't see why not. They've tightened the leash around us. Always watching now.
I mean, at this point, it feels like we should just come clean. We were in hot water, and now we're at the bottom of a boiling pot, is kind of what it feels like.
Indeed.
Detective Gomez and Officer Rodrigo and Officer Sanchez were very nice to me when she kind of looks down. I should be in jail.
Shaima, self-defense is not a jailable offense. You protected yourself and your friends and other civilians. You fought valiantly. You know, sometimes people incite violence and you have to respond with violence, and that's an unfortunate reality.
Maybe that's all true, but still kill people, and being truthful seems to be the only reason I'm not in jail.
And to be fair, me not being truthful is a big reason, it seems. Part of why I was. Individuals saw your actions. I went into the bathroom where a dead man was, and no one saw me go in or come out. So that is quite suspicious. So we go downstairs to Blanco, and
It's a bit late. Maybe we tell him in the morning or think on it. But what did you learn here while we were gone?
quite a
and
bit.
then
Book.
Yeah.
we'll just recite what we learned about, the translation
And I would like to think Sharma Sandlost is manifesting in her sort of absently and like not even really thinking about it, but like playing with the stitches on the semi-fresh knife wound and just kind of opening it. And so there's this like growing blood stain on her side now.
Don't think you should be picking at that.
Oh,
That's not sanitary.
Scratching. It was itchy. Just itchy.
Patrick, I think you're right. I'm a bit tired. I did not get much rest last night. I think I would like to try to get some rest tonight, and let's gather ourselves in the morning and see what information we might want to share.
All right, then. Sleep tight. We'll head up.
Okay. Patrick, when you head out into the hall, you can see that over by the stairs, there is, and like looking directly down your hall, there a seat has been placed, and you can see there is Officer Blanco. He has moved up here. He's got a small little tray to his left on the ground, where he's got his coffee and a couple of snacks. He's got his he's got his newspaper, and he's just like looking down the hall. And when you step out, he looks at you and he doesn't smile, and he watches you just walk into your next room. You go in. He doesn't bother you or anything like that, but he literally is now watching your doors. Okay. So is anyone doing anything over the course of the night, or we just want to move forward to morning?
I've got nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, just resting.
All right, those of you then without a major wound, go ahead and take your normal regen as you get a full night's rest. And the next day comes. Morning comes, you all wake up. Nothing, no strange dreams, no people sneaking in the middle of the night to stab you. It's just a night's rest. Whenever any of you step out into the hall, you see that while Officer Blanco is no longer there, somebody else is there, as there appears to be a constant watch down the hall. What would you guys like to do now?
Update Pastor on the conversations of last night. See if we can get breakfast down in the lobby if they'll let us through.
If you walk up and you'd be like, where are you going?
Just for some breakfast in the lobby.
Okay, you can go. There's another officer down there. And as you go down to the lobby, you can see in the lounge area there is another officer. They've got uniforms on, and he kind of looks up as you walk down, and he's just kind of tracking as you go past. But yeah, you can go.
Excuse me,
get some basic
sir.
breakfast.
What would it take to have a conversation with Detective Gomez?
You would like to speak with Detective Gomez? And who are you, sir? Is your name?
My name is Wood.
Wood. Do you have a first name?
Zephaniah.
Zephaniah Wood. Yes. I will forward your request to Detective Gomez.
Much obliged.
So he'll go down briefly with you, and he'll sort of go up to the hotel's like main desk, borrow the phone, call in. And all this is probably happening while maybe you're getting some sort of breakfast in the lobby or whatever it might be, or coffee or something like that. And he will come over to you. Detective Gomez will be over shortly to speak with you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So you have a little bit of time. There's something you wanted to do.
Shama's curiosity drive has made her kind of curious about something she's overheard the hotel manager say, but I don't want to take away time from this. But so I think I'd like to spend more time on the gross book and the instruction part, specifically first, and if there's time I'll go through the hotel manager, but that first.
Okay. Yeah, you can spend the morning continuing to read the book. It's going to take time. It's one of those things where like a deep poring over of the read is before, like it's not something you would be able to glean in the morning, but you can certainly make progress on it. I can start a track for you.
That would be really great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Who else is doing something this morning?
I think Bev is just also just reading this morning and just continuing to rest. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So eventually then we'll say as the hours pass in the morning, sometime within the next 2 hours or so, maybe you're in your rooms, maybe you're down the lobby, but Detective Gomez arrives. He looks very tired. Looks like he hasn't slept in quite some time. But he approaches Pastor Wood, and I think this is the first time the two of you have met. Is that correct, Pastor Wood?
No, we met in the hospital.
Oh, that's right. You did talk to him briefly. Okay, so he looks at you and his eyebrows raise a bit. Huh. You look very familiar. We have met before, yes?
Yes. We met the other night.
Ah, yes. That's right, in the hospital. Yes, you were the ornery old man with the strange bird wounds.
I admit I might have been a little cantankerous due to the pain.
Ah, I see. Well, I can certainly understand that. I've been told you wish to speak with me. You have something more to confess.
Out of character, would anyone else have been with me at this point? Would we have been hanging out?
Yes, if you told us you invited Gomez over, I'd join.
Okay.
Marie will join.
Yeah, I think we should all be in there, right?
Don't have to. Just asking. So Pastor Wood would respond then. Well, Detective Gomez, there's a bit of history that I feel it'd be better for you to know rather than not know. I am an ex-Texas Ranger, and I understand that is not always looked well upon on this side of the border. I've been retired for many years as there was a culture of violence and prejudice that I just could not stand any longer, and I gave my life to the Lord and have served him faithfully ever since. However, there are still odd jobs that I take on here and there to help pay the bills, of course, you know. I've got a family to provide for. One of those jobs being a private detective here and there. Which leads us to this nasty nectar business. We took on a case trying to discover a little bit more about the networking and the production of this nectar for Winston Rogers, and she works for a pharmacy and all of that. It led us to LA, and well, it turns out that LAPD is as crooked as a dog's hind leg.
Los Angeles?
Los Angeles, yes, apologies. Which led to us having a little bit of a reluctance to trusting police departments in the future. However, you've had us sequestered here in this hotel for some time now, and no one's tried to kill us, which is a very different reaction than the LAPD would have had. So I feel that I personally owe you an apology.
If you feel the need to apologize to me, then go right ahead. He seems to be waiting.
Yeah, Bev nudges you.
You understand that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was the apology.
No, you said you owed me an apology. You haven't actually provided one.
I'm sorry. I'm not the best at speaking Spanish. It must be a language barrier. I apologize for that.
Well, we're speaking English right now because I am also multilingual.
Okay, well, I don't know whether I'm using Spanish or not.
It seems as though you are just making excuses over and over again.
Detective Gomez, I apologize for my poor behavior and my poor manners. My mother raised me better.
I see. Did she? I am sure she was a wonderful woman.
She was a saint.
Well, I thank you for that apology. But I'm very busy, man. I have very serious cases. So a rash of violent crimes the last several days, weeks within here, and as much as I appreciate the apology, I hope that you have brought me down here for more than a simple apology.
I was hoping that we could share some of our information with you as a show of trust.
Oh, you mean you have not been forthright with information in the last few days when I have spoke? I am shocked. Shocked, I should tell you.
Like I said, our last encounters with police departments were rather dangerous for our health. So we were trying to be cautious.
That I understand.
Jermaine looks
yes.
under her hands and fidgets.
Yes.
Trying to be honest.
And I would turn over the correspondence that we found from Brooks. I would say that I would mention Brooks. I would say that we believe that he is the kingpin of this local organization, and I would show him like the letters that we have connecting him with like Merida and things like that.
It's very interesting. This does seem to, as he kind of flips through some of it, I don't think he understands the full context of all of it, obviously, because like the Trammel and stuff like that probably doesn't make any sense.
Right. I would try to give context about Trammel too, and like tie that in, like talk up LA and how
like a supplier chain or something. Yeah, like there.
Yeah.
Okay. He'll read through it very patiently, eyebrows, kind of these bushy eyebrows raising every now and then. This does paint a very serious picture that Mr. Brooks is into some fairly nefarious connections. We are a bit in a very curious state if this substance, we're uncertain of it. Dr. Key did mention the interest of the Winston Pharmaceutical Company.
Yes.
However, as of this moment, there is nothing illegal about, unfortunately, dealing this nectar yet. However,
I do believe it should be illegal. It is a dangerous substance.
You will find many of us will agree with you. It's just that we cannot arrest someone for a possession of something that is not illegal.
But I do believe you could arrest them for murder of Javier and his grinning fools. And I believe that there would be evidence that they had directed that attack at La Paz.
Do you have any evidence?
I believe I know where we could find it.
But do you have any? See, what you are talking about is not evidence.
I admit what
it is supposition.
So we are aware that Jonathan Brooks hired a man. His name is Gonchi del Toro. To
He sort of shakes his head. Del Toro. Gonchi.
And he has been feeding information about us to Jonathan Brooks.
I see. That does sound like Gonchi. Yes, we have had some dealings with him, and he is also private investigator, detective.
Yes. And he was the one who tipped it off that Jonathan Brooks also hired a gentleman named Konovalov.
Yeah. We've heard his name as well.
Who seems to be very dangerous from everything that we've encountered. This is an Ashley question.
Who is Ashley? I do not. There is someone else in the party that I do not know.
Oh damn.
Did we have any? I wasn't expecting us to bear our heart to him. Like I thought so, but I wasn't 100%.
It was an option on the table.
Yeah. Did we have any like communication that we had kept that had anything to do with Konovalov?
I don't think we have anything that really mentions Konovalov. We knew that the concierge
knows Konovalov. Sorry, go ahead.
No, Gonchi del Toro knows him, and the concierge at Brooks' apartment knew Konovalov. We've just heard people talk about him being involved, but I don't think we had anything written with him.
Okay.
both Hernando and Javier knew him as well.
That is true. Yeah, and looking through, like, we have that one note that mentions Cortez, but the note was actually written by D, and it doesn't say Jonathan Brooks on it at all. It was just like an update note from, we assume, Dominguez, that mentioned about Cortez, like, going aground and being holed up and, like, roughing him up. But
Yeah.
I think that was gotten by breaking into Brooks's place, I think.
Well, so one thing that we do know for sure was that Victor Cortez was terrified of Brooks and Konovalov. So that's something that she'll share, is that he was terrified that they were going to kill him, that they killed his friend who worked at the recording studio, and that he was burnt in the building. And that was something that happened prior to us arriving in Mexico.
And yes, I have been on the Jorge Novo arson case for quite some time. Unfortunately, the only witnesses we had to this, all they could describe is a maroon vehicle driving away from the location. They did not see any faces.
Well, that's interesting, because the night I met you, after leaving the hospital, I was pursued by a few individuals in a maroon vehicle.
Were you now? Why did you not return to the hospital? I could have aided you.
Well, I did return inside the hospital, and then I left out a side door.
Ah, I see. Could have. They were chasing you?
Yes. I'm a self-sufficient man. It's hard for me to trust others.
I see. Well, you are in a civilization. You are going to have to depend on other people. Not that I should
We
teach
live
you.
in a society, yes.
Yes, we are not animals.
Oh, sorry. I just hear George Costanza yelling in my head.
I think
Well,
Bev would just be as honest as, unless someone stops her, but she'll be as honest as possible, just about the timeline.
I would try to avoid
everything.
us, like, admitting to breaking into places and things like that.
what? Okay.
Yeah. She won't say anything about you as breaking into his apartment, like places she's been.
We
and
don't
she's
show him the
done.
pillowcases that we took from Brooks's.
Yeah.
Just bring them and just dump them. Like, oh, if you're looking for some evidence.
This
Okay.
is
It's a very
framed
fun
as
pillowcase.
in the events of like things that Bev has done and seen. So she didn't break in, so she won't bring that up.
Okay, so here's what let's we're getting lost in the weeds. So let's
Okay.
focus on this. What are you trying to convince him of? Like, what is your end goal of trying to convince him?
I just want to get to the point where
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Patrick.
feeding him the information that there's a bunch of men with guns in this location. That's why we snuck out yesterday.
Okay, all right, and this is a location that you suggest that you think Brooks is hiding in. Is that what you conveyed in?
And we think it is where nectar is being created.
Okay. And so he will look at you, Patrick, as you speak up. So yesterday, when you snuck past my officer and broke the protection services that we had required of you, you visited this location. You saw these men with guns. Is that right?
Yeah, we drove by, salted the windows.
Did you see Jonathan Brooks? Did you see this Konovalov? Did you see a maroon vehicle? Anything that
No, we just saw unidentifiable men and women.
I see. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some of my men. We are going to pay this address a visit. We're going to see who in fact lives there. What story they might have, that sort of thing. It is not illegal to carry a weapon, especially if it is their own home. We are in a very peculiar position. But you have given me information, and I appreciate that you have become slightly more forthright in your storytelling. I suspect that there are still some things that you are keeping secret, but I do not disagree with you. I think this Mr. Brooks is a source of much of the problems that we have been facing these past several weeks, and even longer, in fact. And I suspect that this Mr. Konovalov, this Russian, could also be part of it. It's very curious to me, though, that a pharmaceutical company is going to be the one to break the case, but we will take the help where we can find it. So, go ahead and return to your rooms and enjoy yourselves, and we will investigate. Thank you again.
We'll see you later.
Okay. And so he will turn. You see, like, he kind of huddles up a few of the officers at this point, and you can see, like, a little bit away. They're talking. And eventually, one of them returns and is essentially just shadowing you. And you see Detective Gomez leaves at that point, and drives off. What do you guys want to do? You have your afternoon. What would you like to do?
We want to hole up for a couple days and rest up, like we were talking about. Just pour over some books.
We are going to have not only a gentleman in the lobby, but a gentleman right outside our door. Our options seem to have shrunk a bit.
How many days would it be that we would need to rest for Melissa to, or Bev, you have a major wound too, to do the first con check for that?
I think like four or five. I think 4. Yeah, 4 left. But you did one last night, so it would be 4.
Would we want to try and just hole up for 4 days? That would give us a boost of hit points, and then we can see if anything happens with Gomez in the meantime. We were talking about resting for a few days anyways.
That'll hopefully give me a chance to make some headway on the book as well.
Yeah, we got plenty of books to read. We brought a whole bunch of books with us that we can sit and read, like Legends of the Nawa and things like that we brought from the plane ride. So,
yeah, I think we just majority rest up.
Okay. So if you spend the rest of the day resting in your rooms, you're in this like weird little house arrest, and you're reading your books, and you're kind of going through all of that. Morning will come, and those of you who do not have major wounds can go ahead and take your natural recovery. And as you are kind of going about your business the next day, Detective Gomez pays you yet another visit. Comes in, and you can see he looks frustrated, still tired, but he kind of pulls you all aside, maybe somewhere in the lobby or maybe in one of your rooms, takes his hat off, kind of runs his hand through it. We paid a visit to the address you provided, and you are not wrong. It does seem to be the home of Jonathan Brooks. We knocked on the door. He greeted us. He told an interesting story. I'm not sure I believe all of it, but I tell it to you now because I wonder if you might provide additional context. He said that he is a victim in all of this. That he admits that he has been hiding there, and that there are several men with guns and all sorts of things. But he blames this Konovalov. He says that the violence is his doing. And he says that the Russian man became very obsessed with his wife, with Leticia, and that this obsession led to some extremist behavior, and apparently Brooks is decided to hide within this other location. He's got these men with guns for protection. He is worried that the Russian will come and hurt him. And this is a story he has told. He gave us a small walkthrough of his home. It is, you can see he makes a face. It is a poor state of affairs. It is very much a flop house. There are a dozen men, perhaps. They all share rooms, mattresses on the ground. It smells quite terrible. And he showed us that in the cellar, he had built a hidden studio, you see. This is apparently where he and his wife have been recording. He says the acoustics or something. I'm not a musical person. However, he had no sign of this Knovelov. So, I believe we're in a bit of an impasse. Do you have any hard evidence that you can provide to me that I can... I did not see any signs of this nectar. I did not see any signs of this production that you have claimed. I did not see any signs of Leticia either. He claims to have shepherded her away to a undisclosed location for safety.
Then why kill Javier and his fools on this disclosing this location?
Yes, I am quite confused by this as well. As I said, I do not believe this man. It seems as though he is keeping secrets. I know not whether or not he and Gnovelev are in cahoots or not, but it certainly seems that he is still hiding something.
I believe the nectar issue is a little less of a local problem. It's worldwide. We have heard rumors that it's as far sweeping as Thailand and Europe as well. Brooks is very specifically tied to these recordings that are often listened to while people use the nectar, and it somehow combines with the drug, and it makes people lose their minds a little bit.
That is a fascinating story, my friend. However, I need something that I can prove, like something that I can present to a judge. Something that would ensure I can bring this man into custody.
If you hold a moment, I think we might have something inside. If you just want to.
Yes, of course.
Like, she feels awkward just saying, like, stay right there. I'll go look for it, because clearly he's not going anywhere.
Okay.
We should interview Gonshi as well. I haven't seen him since.
Yes, he has not been in his normal haunts either.
I worry for his safety, because he was also feeling threatened.
He's Gonshi Dadoro. He is, and he will live with the roaches. I guarantee you. He finds a small corner, a crook. He will hide in, and he will come out after the dust is settled.
Okay.
So Marie is. Maybe this is not wise, but he was asking for hard evidence of Nectar and Jonathan. So Marie is going to furiously make a copy of this letter so that we also still have the information. But there is a letter from Trammell to Brooks that specifically asks, where is our Nectar?
Mm-hmm. I think he was asking more like hard evidence about the killings. Yeah. Okay. Because like he was saying before, like the idea of nectar is like it's a bad thing, but it's not. Again, it's not technically illegal.
It's not illegal.
Like, the idea of arson, the idea of killing Victor Cortez, the idea of killing the band members, all of that is clearly illegal. Do you have anything other than theories that ties Jonathan Brooks to these killings?
We have.
I don't operate off evidence in most of my life.
So maybe that's why you're such a good Texas Ranger.
I'm guessing we have none.
We went to Jonathan Brooks' apartment. His concierge knew about Konovalov.
But didn't know about violence or anything
He's the
like that.
only
Just
other
that
person that has met Konovalov. She's saying out loud.
And he will not, we will speak. We have spoken with this. Kind of flips their nose. Says Oscar. I think his name was Oscar something. Yes.
Yes, sir.
He looks kind of pleadingly at you all.
And Hernando has met him as well.
Yes.
Well, Detective Gomez, there is absolutely nothing more than I would love to give you than hard evidence detailing this. But unfortunately, with us being sequestered the way we are, it makes it difficult to track down these leads.
I think I've thought of something. We can give you evidence. Set up a
Yes,
meeting
Mr. Price.
with Jonathan Brooks. You'll get your evidence.
You want a meeting? You want me to organize a meeting with you and Mr. Brooks?
Well, if he truly is the one that's been hunting us, well, we'll be happy we're on his doorstep.
You could use us as bait to pull out Konovalov.
He's thinking on this. He's like, oh, goodness. This would be very dangerous. I am putting civilians in the line of fire. If he is as dangerous as you claim him to be.
We would have put ourselves in line of fire without your help. That's the whole reason we were voting you.
If anything, we'd be safer with you around.
Gonchi
And
did
Marie
tell
kind
us,
of like holds her side where she knows that there's bullet wounds. Like, we got ourselves into plenty of trouble before our paths crossed.
And that Detective Blanco, he seemed quite stern as well. I'm sure he could handle himself.
Detective, okay, he is an officer.
Oh, I apologize.
And after letting the two of you escape, it will be quite some time before he is risen to detective.
Poor Blanco.
Spanish isn't my first language, so I apologize.
English is not mine, and we are speaking it, so I do not understand once again what I'm telling you.
I don't know
It's
if
just my excuse the whole time.
Okay. I'll say this. So, Patrick, you raise a plan to try to use you all to kind of like bring you all to Brooks or something like that. Is that the idea? And you want to see if that...
or kind of throw us out there that the red vehicle could find us and track us down and try to...
You want me to use you as bait?
Yes, that's what the good doctor just said.
Okay. I want a persuasion test. You've thrown an idea to use you all as bait. You've earned some trust with him, but at the same time, like, yeah.
I don't mind making it unless someone else wants to.
I've got 73 in persuade. What's yours?
Yeah, I've got like a 30 something. So somebody.
I'm 65. So go ahead, Marie.
All right.
I'm going to take an audience because I would really love for this to go well.
You'd love to be bait.
62.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Well, this is quite unorthodox, but this is a very unorthodox situation. We seem to be at a bit of a standstill. I think we all can agree this Mr. Brooks is a nefarious man. I do not believe his story that he is an innocent victim in all of this. The degree to which he is a villain, I do not yet know. But I do not believe that he is telling the truth. Okay.
Most innocent victims aren't holed up with 15 men with machine guns.
It is fair. It was more like 12, but they did not all have machine guns. This is against my better judgment. You are a Texas Ranger. You said you are capable.
Well, I'm quite capable, and Patrick and Shima, they hold their own as well. The other two, they've got the brains for a fight.
And he looks at them, and they both have gunshot wounds. Right.
Shima's looking down.
I have more so the brains of investigating the scene than...
You have a giant,
well-rounded.
bruise on
Yeah.
your head still.
Yeah.
He's like looking at it. It's yellow probably
Yeah.
at this point.
She is well aware of her combat ability. She's not going to tell him that she's killed men, but
I was trying to give you a compliment.
Okay. I will be back tonight. We will arrange a meeting of some sort. Is that the plan? So you guys basically presented two plans. One was like be bait, and then one was to actually meet Brooks. So
Essentially, meeting Brooks is bait itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
okay. So here I will return later. Get some rest. And he just kind of nods, and you could tell he's like thinking a mile a minute. And so he walks away. Okay. So I'll say you guys have an afternoon. If there's any preparations or anything that you want to make before you go off to die.
Spending time with that coursework again. Like, all my downtime is more or less just the coursework.
I would, sorry, go ahead.
I think Bev would actually take the time for any of our materials and stuff that we've gathered to ship off to Kearns, so at least it can be taken back to Arkham.
Okay.
Presuming like we aren't able to come back from this.
So when you say stuff, because I imagine you've probably given some stuff over to the detectives.
Yeah.
And some stuff you've kept. So when you say you're shipping stuff away, like what kind of stuff are you talking about?
The stuff that we didn't give to the detectives. So like our books, or at least Bev's books.
Okay.
I think Marie might see kind of that you're putting things together. What, you're packing some things up?
Yeah, if we are to be bait tonight and things don't go well and we were to perish, the investigation would still need to go on. Knowledge needs to be studied, regardless of. I would love for it to be me, to be the person to be able to continue to learn and uncover the truth. But even if I'm unable to, the pursuit of knowledge is more important than anything else.
I see. And Marie wants to make sure that like anything that is specific here, that like she's wanting to make sure that we're reviewing this before we go. Like we're on our game with like anybody that's written a letter to him or any of those types of things, that like these are being read and reviewed now. Okay.
We'll say maybe Frank Kearns comes, because you guys know how to contact him. And he'll come to the hotel. And it's like, hey, how you guys doing? I remember his voice. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Frank.
Frankie Kearns. Man
with 1,000 voices.
I'm a man with 1,000 voices. How you doing? Hey. So he comes over, and whatever it is that you want to give to him. So the books you were saying, like any of like these occult books and tomes and stuff like that, anything that might have been maybe evidence against Brooks or something, I'm perfectly fine with saying like what Marie was doing of you making copies of things. I have no problem with that either. Like you have the time to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Frank holding on to it is the nice middle ground rather than shipping it away, because
that's
we can
what I
still
meant.
meet him.
Give it to Frank. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, I got this. You guys trust me, no problem. No problem.
If you don't hear from us in X number of days, this needs to go here. But hopefully we'll see you.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Hey,
don't wait in Mexico indefinitely.
We talk about I like it here.
Charmaine is very specifically giving the books they found doubles up, with the intention that they will get out of this, and she will still have to give something to Dr. Lanford.
Okay.
So everything they've got doubles up definitely, and maybe some other stuff, but that's up for sure.
Okay.
And then
you wrap it up twice, bubble wrap.
Bev does take the time to, as like part of like bookkeeping, is she does write a letter to Ed Exley. And then she does write a basically a cipher letter to her fellow professor. Basically kind of like a Delta Green like activation card. So if I were to die, like kind of thing. Just advising on...
It's like in code. You write
she's gonna do it.
That is
give me a cryptography roll.
Nice. Bev really does think she's gonna die.
Ashley's taking care of her backup character. This is gonna make it so much easier.
I fail. So it just
Spend luck?
Maybe. We'll see.
You can.
Oh, please spend luck on that.
It's only 12.
12 luck on this.
It's only 12. How much you got?
Do it.
I have 71.
Oh, you got so much luck. What are you talking about?
You got plenty.
Spend that luck. You're probably going to have to spend all your luck later anyway, so you might as well.
I know. Fine. I'll spend it for
We're
Jeff.
all just peer pressuring her into spending luck.
Yay.
My cryptography roll past Jeff.
Got it. I wrote it down.
Yes.
I got it. I got the number. Okay. All right.
While we have Frank.
Yeah.
Actually.
Hey, what you doing? How's it going?
Hi there.
I like this weather
hope-
we're having. It's so warm here.
I hope you've been enjoying your time here.
Oh yeah, I've been drinking all sorts of things. They got some fancy things down here.
Does he have a
That's,
tan?
that's
Yes, he does. He looks like he's been on vacation. He looks great.
It's giving Frank Ryder vibes.
So much.
He's like, yeah. You guys don't look so good though. Oh my goodness, jeez, what happened to you?
we
Looked
don't
like
we
you
don't
got
need to get into
shot
that.
several times by a suspected cult member.
Oh, don't make me laugh. Oh, don't make me laugh. It hurts when I laugh. Oh, dear.
Well, that's probably. You sure you don't want to come with me?
That would probably be the smarter thing, actually. But I wanted
There's
to,
room.
and Marie spends a little longer than she should thinking about that.
There's a
actually
little
wanted to-
cantina like right by the place I'm staying near the airport. It is just, I mean, it ain't a pretty dive. Don't get me wrong, but boy, they got a heavy hand. You know what I'm saying?
best drinks. The best drinks. If they can't bring you in with the ambiance, they got to keep you there with the pour.
Economically efficient with their booze. It's fantastic.
I wanted to ask you though. You know planes. Planes are your thing.
Yeah, sure. I'm a pilot, so yeah, I guess that's an accurate if strange statement. But yes, go right ahead.
So I'm just looking through like all of the handouts and things that we have, and there's a plane in the back of the photo of Dominguez and crew.
Oh yeah.
And so she just kind of wants to show him the plane because it has like numbering on the bottom.
Sure.
And so I'm just wanting to like get his thoughts on like if that looks like it's like a American plane with like an American like registration on it, or like if it looks like it might be like a Mexican plane with like a different like registration on it.
He takes a look at it and like, oh no, yeah, that definitely looks like that's one of ours. You know, that definitely, as you can tell by the way the numbers at the start here, that's a good eye on you. Look at that. Yeah.
So if that's what, like, do you have like, is there like somebody that you could like call that might get like, who does that number connect to? Like, is your plane connected to you? Like, or the Winston Rogers? Like, is it owned? And that's like,
Yes, Miss Winston
registered
Rogers.
somewhere?
It's registered. I think it's technically a property of the Winston Pharmaceutical Company, to be sure. I'm not sure,
okay.
actually. It's a good question.
Well,
I just fly the thing
well, and you do a great job. Such smooth
most
flights.
of the
Always
time.
good. Usually. So would you be able to like make a call or two and see who this plane number is registered to?
I mean, I could try. Sure, yeah, I could. I got a few contacts back in the States. Maybe. Okay.
That would be wonderful if you could do that. I wouldn't even know where to start. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I'll kind of like write the number down from the photo and kind of like, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. You sure you don't want to come with me? You look like you're gonna fall over if a stiff breeze hits you.
I feel like I might just fall over, but we promised to do a job, and we're going to do the job. So thank you.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. Well, I feel like this is like a goodbye or something. There's kind of a weird vibe to this conversation, but
Hopefully it's a see you later. We can always hope it's a see you later.
okay. You know, you guys are doing your job. You're doing your job. It's fine. All right. Anyway, I'm out of here. I got the bags. I got this. I got my task. I'll see y'all later. Good luck. Don't die.
Thank you,
leaves.
Frank.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah. See you.
I love that he said it's a weird vibe, and you just kind of like doubled down and just like, yeah, let's make it more weird.
It does have that feeling. It really does have that like, oh my god, we're hitting like a save point. Like not a save point. We're hitting that like point of no return. Okay.
Pastor Wood would go to the front desk of the hotel and try to send a telegram, whether he has to call like post office or whatever, however that would be.
Okay, that can get done. Yeah.
And he would send it to his wife. He would not mention anything dangerous whatsoever. He would say, Mexico is beautiful. Even ran into Elena. She's grown into a strong-willed woman. Hope you and Obi are doing well. Zeph.
God, you're such an asshole.
I imagine like strong-willed is like underlined. There's a little frowny face next to it.
God damn. The subtext comes through on the telegram. Oh, goodness. Okay.
So well.
Oh, my God. All right. Anybody else have any last things that they're doing?
We all look to Patrick, I think.
I'm fixing my hair. What's wrong with you guys?
There's like a fiance or something that
Going. Oh, that's why this thing's on my. Oh, that's good. Got like a little ring. I got like a little string on his finger. That's what that's for. Okay, so we'll say evening time. Gomez comes back. Blanco comes back. You can see as they come into the hotel, like they change. You see Blanco's in street clothes, and they, Gomez has a couple conversations with some of the on-call guys who've been watching the hotel, kind of keeping an eye on you guys, and then eventually kind of meet up maybe in one of your rooms. And he's like, okay, this is the last time. If you want to back out of this is the time. He looks at Miss Wayne, he looks at Dr. Key. Madams, I do not mean to. You look very terrible. There are men with big guns, and if this Jonathan Brooks is as dangerous as we all think he is, I am not confident that we can keep you safe.
We understand that this is we came here with a job to do. You have our utmost gratitude for assisting us despite our lack of truthfulness with you.
He sort of shakes his head, just like, yeah, so be it. And it's like, let us go. He kind of leads you guys out, get a pair of cars. One of you, the cops are driving. So one of them, like a couple of you are with Gomez, a couple of you with Blanco, you're in two cars. And we'll say that you drive over in the direction of this intersection of Montezuma and San Pedro. Look like you're going to say something, Steven. What do you got?
Yeah, Gomez said it's not a crime to carry a weapon, right?
No, it's not. You're good.
Okay, so I'm bringing my shotgun.
Okay. All right. You guys arrive. By the time you get into the neighborhood, it is dark. You can see, sort of describing it again, it's very run down in some ways. It's outside the heart of Coyoacan. And whoever you're with, like especially if you're in the car with Gomez, like he'll talk about this neighborhood. This was once very beautiful. It has fallen on some hard times of late. Hopefully one day we will be able to rejuvenate it like the other parts of Coyoacan. You pass by some like these old decaying buildings, a couple modest homes that are still lingering and kind of doing their best. And Wood and Price, you see like again one of these. You don't really have any major decoration, but like a cantina or a bar or something like that. Lots of the streets, not just the homes, some overgrown vegetation. You can see like some grass and stuff and some of the dirt roads and even places where there might be cobblestone. You see it's kind of cracked and stuff here and there. At night, it's definitely got this kind of eerie, abandoning feeling to it. Like you don't really see a ton of lights. Just a scattered one in the distance here, a scattered one in the distance there, maybe a lantern and a window. And the street lights around this particular T section don't work. And that seems to kind of contribute to it to some degree. And so you kind of approach the area and the Gomez kind of turns to you. You're not quite to the ruined hacienda or to the brick and yellow house, and he'll just turn to you all, and he just says, "Well, we can go knock on the door, see if anyone is home, unless you have something else in mind."
Did you get a chance to check out that ruined building right next door?
No, we did not. I thought it was the other building that was... There's no one there. It doesn't even have a roof on that place.
No, I'm sure it's nothing. Perhaps we just do a walk around as well, make sure that there aren't reinforcements or anything like that in there.
And raises an eyebrow. Okay, Mr. Texas Ranger. And so we'll say you park a little bit away. You don't park out in front. If you don't want to go knock on the door, we'll say we park a little bit away as you all kind of clamber out of the vehicles. And so at this point, there's 7 of you. 5 of you, Blanco, Gomez. And what's the plan?
Patrick likes being stealthy. Perhaps we split up. The PP gang just walks over and looks inside, makes sure no one's in there, and then comes back, rather than 7 people trying to be stealthy.
In where? To his house or the ruins?
To the ruins. Not actually going in the ruins, just walking around.
Okay. Check out the area.
Okay.
Maybe the rest of us can stay near the cars and keep surveillance on the other house.
Okay. He looks at the 2 of you as you're getting ready to go. He's like, Blanco will go with you. I will stay behind. And so, like, it is the PPB gang. As
Happy to have you, Officer Blanco.
You can call me Pedro.
Hey.
Hey.
PP gang, rise up!
Okay.
We got another P.
What is this PP gang? It's just American slang. I do not understand. Okay. So which of you has the lower stealth? That's how we'll do it this time. We'll take the person with the low.
Yeah,
the
I'm
worst
79.
Oh, I have 77.
Oh wow. Well,
That's
Patrick,
crazy.
you and your shitty 77. Go ahead.
Oh no.
Well, a nice 80. I can push this, I believe. Yeah, let's do
Or
it.
spend the 3 luck.
You can also just spend the 3 luck.
Oh,
Remember that. Remember
You
that with
push.
pushing.
You're gonna
if you
succeed
push
on
it, if you push it and you fail, the consequence is much more significant.
yeah.
you can't
I'm
spend
hoping
a
for
lot
like
on
a
a push
push
roll.
for a better stealth, because that takes into account, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
Like the degrees of
The
success.
difficulty doesn't change or anything like that. Well, basically, what's just going to happen is if you fail, even if you roll a 78, for instance, on your push, it's a fail. You can't spend luck to succeed, and so the consequence would be significant, potentially.
Yeah, let's get spicy.
Okay, 58.
58.
Oh yes.
All right. I was a little nervous. I was so nervous about it. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like we went from like never pushing rolls to suddenly today we're like, that's
Yeah.
what we're fucking doing.
Although really, like it's a 77% chance. So like statistically, it was
Still scary.
likely to be under 77. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So the 2 of you with Blanco in tow, you sneak across the street and sort of get into there's some scattered citrus trees and other bushes and things like that you're probably using a little bit as cover, and you find yourself in this crumbling colonial hacienda. You move along this plank fence, and you find many of the planks themselves are not in great condition, and a few of them have fallen, and you can easily slip through. When you approach the ruin, the walls are unkempt, like it's adobe. It's kind of crumbling here and there. You can tell that in most cases the wall, like the ceiling of this place is completely caved in. Others like still lingering, and a tree in like a wall or two, you can definitely tell it's not in particularly great state. There's a heavy citrus smell in the air, and you can see that there's like these different trees and such. And kind of walking around, you hear a little bit of a crunch underfoot as some of that like kind of plaster and whatnot from the buildings, from the crumbling of it is sort of, you can almost hear the sound. It's so quiet, and you're trying to be as quiet as possible. Okay, what would you like to do? You're here.
I'll lead us inside. Try to get a peek. What's left of the remnants?
Okay. So you just do spot hiddens, or if there's something more in particular you're looking to do?
No, I think spot hidden is what. Just trying to get a sense of if we need to worry about a threat coming out of there.
Okay.
Like, is there like
right
a cellar
ahead.
or something?
38 under.
Do you want it from both of us or just one?
You can both do it.
Regular success, 67 under 89.
Okay. And you had a regular success as well,
89.
Patrick?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Two things that you notice. We'll say, Patrick, you find what looks like Marie just sort of mentioned it, a cellar. Or at least like the entrance to a cellar. Woo! Sorry, I couldn't do it. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna explode. Okay, sorry about that.
Bless you.
Who the fuck said that? Okay. Whew. So, Patrick, you find what looks like a cellar entrance. It's not inside the house, but it's abutted on the outside of the house, and you can see there's these heavy metal doors, and there's a padlock. Now, what's interesting, Patrick, is that the metal actually looks in decent shape. The rest of this ruin looks terrible. Like, it looks like it's dilapidated, and this doesn't look like rusted and old or anything. It looks, it's in perfectly fine shape, and there's a padlock on it. Pastor Wood, when you're looking around, you notice that there are all sorts of cigarette butts on the ground, and you can see footprints, not your own, as if there's been traffic in here. This is what you guys see.
So, but the cellar has a padlock on it, though, like it's locked.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, nothing's coming out, at least. I say we get to that after the main problem.
Oh, we're here. Why not take a look? It seems the only thing intact.
Patrick, I've always got your back, but I've seen you try to pick a lock, and I'd rather not do that again.
Meta, Steven's worried about a crit fail on a lockpick again.
Oh, we have Pedro this time. It's fine.
There you go. PvP.
Hey, Pedro, you know how to pick a lock?
Roll a luck test, Pastor Wood.
44. Rolled a 17.
Ooh.
Nice.
Of course, I know how to pick a lock.
Do you want to do the honors?
Yeah. Okay. I guess we are breaking all sorts of laws tonight. We might as well continue with it. And he gets down on a knee and he starts going through it. Let's see how he does.
For the record, I said we weren't going in here, but Patrick wanted to.
24. He does, in fact. He is able. He's kind of working a little bit and occasionally looks up. I'm assuming you guys haven't brought any real light with you. At most, maybe like a lighter. It's all very dark.
Yeah.
The only light you're getting,
I wouldn't have wanted to give away our position.
The only light that really is kind of hitting this lot is the light coming out of the windows of the nearby house. And all of a sudden, you just hear him go, jackpot. And he kind of moves the padlock a little bit, pulls it off, and drops it down on the ground. And he's like, yeah, that was easy. I thought this was going to be much more difficult.
And I'll open it up. Let's take a look.
And what you see are stairs that go down into the darkness below.
Can the others see us from here?
I would allow them a spot hidden maybe, but
Yeah, I'll take that spot hidden.
okay.
Yeah, Bev is too busy watching the other house.
Yeah, I mean Gomez is too. Gomez is kind of keeping an eye on it. He's
Yeah.
like,
Oh my gosh, my tray.
God damn.
Man, that's a shame
nat
that's on
one.
that spot hidden. Nat 1 for Shima. Shima, maybe you have like moved a little bit further down the road a bit and you're like kind of propped up, just kind of keeping your back. But the angle you're at, you can see Patrick and Pastor and Blanco are at this cellar gate, and you see them suddenly in the like silhouetted by the light coming down from the windows, and you see like the door open up, and they have opened up a cellar door. Like Shime would be able to tell it. And I would say also, with a critical success, you're looking down at that place and at where they're standing, and the only reason you can see it is because there's light effectively shining down on them from the window. Like if anyone is looking out of that window, there is no way on earth they can't be seen by that house.
Oh.
I am gonna run back to the rest of the group, and kind of frantically like, they found our door. They're going inside, and they can be seen from the house. They found our door. They found our door.
Shh, quiet. Please keep it down. Please, quiet.
Found a door.
Okay. And he'll turn to Marie and Bev, and he'll say, "There's no shame in staying behind and being lookout and getaway driver. Can you drive?"
I can drive. I'm very good at driving.
I can keep a lookout.
I'm not saying you cannot come with us. I'm just saying this isn't Jeff saying you're not allowed to come. This is just
no. Yeah. But also, I don't know if Bev and Marie necessarily want to make first contact, just in case it does immediately devolve into a firefight.
For whatever it's worth, Sharma is very much agreeing with Thomas that you two should not be in the firefight or whatever it is.
Like,
and Marie kind of looks to Bev. We can stay here for now, and we can always go in.
You can
if
help
needed.
us leave.
You go ahead, Chima. Go ahead.
oh, this is terrible.
Okay. So Gomez will like bend down, and he'll like pull up his pant leg, and he'll pull from a small ankle holster this tiny little snub-nosed pistol, and he'll like hand it over to, we'll say Bev. He'll just, in case you have trouble.
Thank you.
Doesn't necessarily know you have a gun, maybe. Like he's just giving us over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because
She pulls out a chewing gun.
Pastor already brought his gun, so I think we kind of knew that. And so Marie, from out of her bag, will kind of pull. She has a revolver.
Yeah, and like Bev will very
Eyes go
kindly.
wide.
I don't think Bev will when he's there, but after he leaves, out of her purse, she'll pull out her Derringer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, Shima, do you go with the detective, or do you stay?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
the two
I'm
of you,
also armed.
I will need a stealth test from you then
Doke.
to cross over onto the grounds.
Have Gomez or I noticed anything from the main building?
Not yet. You can roll. You can roll spot hidden if you want. You are at a distance, though. I did say you guys parked at a well
That's
away.
true.
I had said Shima
Yeah,
had moved
that's right.
up a little bit, and that
That's
gave
right.
her a
Got
better
it.
angle.
Okay. Never
So,
mind.
if you wanted, if the two of you wanted to try to get into a better position, you're welcome to do so. Like it's you're not. I don't want you to think that you're stuck here.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
you
a good
want to
idea.
because
Yeah.
I just failed my stealth roll.
Okay. All right. Do you want a 28 luck?
I don't have 28 luck.
You want to push it? We're all doing it. I pushed on a
not
5.
for this. Not for this. I'll push the
Okay.
bills.
All right. So Pastor Wood, Patrick, and Pedro are getting ready to descend into the cellars, and that's when you hear crunch, crunch. Ow! You look over and you see Shima and Detective Gomez trying to get through the plank fence, and Shima kind of gets her shirt caught or something on one of the planks, and that kind of rattles and scrapes a little bit. And
It's a
Gomez
funny
is like,
bone.
quiet, please.
Let's go in before they see us.
Okay.
Oh,
and you guys descend. Okay. And shortly thereafter, Shaima and Detective Gomez, the two of you, can very easily catch up. Okay. So.
We're so split. Oh my
Yep.
god.
So you start heading down this stair, and it is it's cinder block basically. You can tell it's like more modern construction. It doesn't look like it's matches the general design of this ruin, which you can see has got like older building materials. This seems a little bit more newer, I should say. As you descend, it's very dark. There's no lanterns. There's no lamps. There's nothing like that. And you find yourselves going down about 2 stories worth of steps, like one, and then you turn, and then you down again, and you turn once more. And eventually you come down to a landing, and you can see the stairs go down no further. And again, there's no real lights that you can see at this little landing. But you notice that there is an arched tunnel that seems to go off into the darkness, and it's like the only direction, the only way out of here. And it seems to be heading kind of eastward, we'll say. You would be able to, I would say, figure out that it's kind of heading in the direction of the house. And it's at that point you hear some stumbling from above, and as you're like kind of peering down, and here appears Shaima and Gomez behind you. And there's really nowhere to go other than this tunnel.
Detective Gomez, Officer Blanco. This is going to sound a little strange, but if you see a mouth on the wall, keep your distance, because those tongues can reach out a lot further than you expect. And with that, I just start going into the tunnel, and I'm very careful to look for any sort of tripwire or anything like that might have like a bell on it or something that might be like an alarm.
Okay, give me a spot hidden. And they both, by the way, like, what the hell? And as you walk, they turn to Patrick and tell him, what do they mean, mouths? What is he talking about?
It's better to understand when you see it.
Hopefully you will not have to say it.
Okay. And like Blanco gives a look at Gomez that is like, did we make the right choice coming up?
Did we throw in
like, what are we doing?
Crazy people.
56 under 89 for the spot hit.
Okay. All right. Going down the tunnel, you see here, like, you don't see any signs of tripwires or anything like that. It's actually mostly empty. There's the only things you really see are basically like crumbling rock. It's definitely like everything down here has been built, you can tell, sometime in the last few years. And so like the tunnel seems reinforced with some kind of cinder block and sort of concrete and whatnot. But you do see that there's like these crumbling areas, these cracks, things like that. But you don't see anything to suggest there is any sort of like hidden tripwire or anything like that going on. So Pastor was out in front. Chima, Patrick, do you follow?
Yeah, I'll follow behind him.
Yeah.
Okay. So the five of you start pushing down the tunnel. Bev and Marie, do you stay in the car? Do you change your location? What do you two do?
I think we want to get closer. So Marie will kind of look to Bev, and like it seemed wise to stay. And then after like everyone's off, Marie just kind of looks at Bev. Perhaps we don't want to just stay here?
We could get a little closer. Listen. Just
Okay.
continue to observe the main building.
Okay. So are you just going to try to get closer in terms of like just sneak on feet, and do you actually want to get on either of the properties, or do you want to kind of keep a distance?
Is there a way that we can move the vehicle? So kind of
Yeah, you can
reposition
drive
the
them.
vehicle. Yeah. So I'd read more of like direction of roads and things like that. Like, could we reposition the vehicle so that we would be able to kind of get a better eye on the main house?
Okay, so yes, it would require essentially driving past the hacienda, like this ruined building that Pastor Wood and Patrick and Shima just went into. Like you would have to drive past it to get closer.
We are in a police vehicle.
No, you're not.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a unmarked car, so nothing that would immediately arouse their suspicions necessarily.
It is late at night.
It feels like this. Like I said, I described it as like it feels eerily abandoned. This section.
We may not want to like go in the car.
Okay, we should get closer. I think we should just get closer.
On
we'll
foot?
Do so on foot, Jeff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go on the grounds, or you do?
Not if we can help it. We'd still like to keep a little bit of distance.
Go across the street or something. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Both of you. So who's got the lower stealth between the two of you?
Oh, me.
We both have shitty stealths.
Okay. You're gonna get a bonus die because you're not actually going across the street. So like you can roll. So whoever's got the worst stealth, roll it for the two of you. Take a bonus die for it, just because you're still keeping your distance.
Okay.
Oh, Bevan, her 20 stealth.
You got this. You'll be fine. You'll live forever. No, you're not.
No, exactly.
Two rolls in the 80s. 80.
2 84s.
2 80s. Yeah.
2
okay.
80s. Son of a bitch.
That's bad.
Okay. And then if you would like, as you're moving, you can roll spot hiddens.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to keep to these like citrus trees, but every time you try to do, you hear a crunch as like a little twig or like a squish is like something like you step on this or that, the crunching of gravel. You're making a little bit of noise.
Yeah, I failed that.
Okay.
I rolled
Both of you
double lollies.
That's a critical fail. Okay. All right.
Glad we're so split. Yeah, I'm gonna spend 10 luck to pass the spot hidden.
Okay.
I wish I could spend luck.
All right. Bev, you notice that there are two people, I should say, you can't tell anything more specific than that, who are like kind of creepily running from the grounds of the blue and yellow house to the grounds of the hacienda, the ruined hacienda, and you watch as they close the cellar door that Pastor Wood and Patrick Price and Shima just went down. You can see they relock it, and then they kind of stand guard next to it.
Oh shit.
Marie, you look inside. You're kind of staring inside the house, and like you're underneath what looks like some kind of orange tree, and you just hear, and you look over to your, like out of the corner of your eye, you see there's this large orange that's hanging, and there's a mouth kind of growing in it and just dripping this orange juice. And as it snaps out at you, you see the orange just falls. And as you do, and as it does, you kind of stumble back a bit. And that kind of creates a little bit of noise. And you hear from across the street, you hear, huh? And like one of the two guards who came over and closed and locked the cellar door is now coming in the direction of where the two of you are hiding across the street, kind of in the bushes and in the shade of this this citrus tree.
Marie's running for the car.
Yeah.
You start running?
To the car.
Okay.
Yep.
So you start running, and it's at that point you hear, it's like, it's like someone shouting at you. And then you hear the sounds of footsteps, and you look back and you see that there's a guy that's chasing you. He's on the street and he's running after you. What do you do?
I'm running for the car because my thought is get in the car and drive away.
Okay. All right. So you run, and you've got I'm not going to put us into a full chase because it's not that fast. So like you're not that far away. And so you run really quickly, and he's shouting at you at this point. And you both can get into the car. I do want a drive test as you're trying to do this really quickly before he catches up to you.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
My thought is always like, I always think of how heavy 1930s cars are. So I always think about like, if I can get behind the wheel, there's a possibility that I can.
Are you diving in the car as well?
Yeah, she'll just dive in the passenger seat.
That's fine. Okay. Marie, just give me that drive test to see if you can get this thing started faster than it takes him to extra steps and shoot you in the face through the driver's side window.
She's yelling to Bev, be ready. And I took an audience boost, so this would be under 50, and I'm so glad I did because I rolled a 42, which would have been a fail, but now it's a success. Thank you, audience.
Hell yes.
Okay. You get you jump behind it, you get the keys going, and it gets going. It's pretty. These things are kind of loud, and you have control of the vehicle. He is kind of running down the street in your direction. I would say he's maybe 10 feet from the car. What do you do, Murray?
I am driving at him.
You're gonna try to drive and run him over? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With your drive test, I'm not going to make you re-roll it. You just lurch out, and I will roll to see if he can dodge out of the way. I'm going to give him a dodge test to see if he can just like hit the deck because you're not already going at like ridiculously high speed.
Actually,
check his dodge. 30%.
That was not even on. That was not even on my bingo deck card of like things that you would choose to do.
He rolled an 18, so he does dive off the road and into the high grass as you lurch the car at him. And you hear some vague curses in your direction. Doesn't sound like he's speaking English as he's yelling at you at this point. Okay, now I'll roll over Bev's previous spot hidden. You can see that there is a couple. Looks like the door has opened up to that blue and yellow house, and you can see that one or two people come out. And it looks like there's more that are coming out now. That there's a little bit of a commotion out here. Marie, what do you want to do? Bev, what do you want to do? You didn't hear a thump of hitting the guy. You're pretty sure you missed him, like he dove out of the way at the last second. What do you want to do now?
Marie wants to see if she can, this is probably really dumb, but there's a group of people coming out and she kind of wants to make some noise with the vehicle because like they just got locked under there and there's no way to kind of communicate with them. So she kind of wants to like screech the car a bit up here.
You could just lay on the horn.
If you'd like.
Well, yeah, that would be the smart thing to do.
Oh, you just beep beep, girl. Sorry, I hit that curb. Beep beep.
I don't know if horns were yet like in every vehicle at this time. I think they had started to come in. I don't know if like they were standard yet. I can't remember. I looked it up once and I don't remember the answer. So we'll just say you can do it. That's fine.
Yeah, I think in the early 30s they started being a thing.
I just want to point out there are people coming out of the building now. They're all you know that there's people with weapons. There's a guy on the ground next to you. Yeah. So what I'm asking you is what do you want to do besides this? Because they're going to get up in a second and they're going to shoot you.
Yeah, so, keep driving. Yeah, definitely continuing. Yeah, continuing to drive. Yep.
Okay. So right now your car is vaguely facing in the direction because you kind of tried to knock him over and he was running from the blue house. So you're pointed at this blue and yellow house. Do you just drive past them or do you try to do a quick UE and head back the other direction?
No, she does want to, no, she's going to drive past them. It's going to be faster to go straight than to do a UE. That sounds
really dangerous. Because if they have guns and stuff.
It's up to you.
Okay.
You're driving. No, you're driving, girl. That's your decision.
That's fine. I'll do the UE.
Take the wheel.
Okay. If you're trying to pull the car back from you're kind of almost half off the road as you're trying to hit the guy, you try to kick it into reverse, back out, and try to swing it around. Give me a drive auto.
All right, I'm going to take another. So this is 50-50. Oh shit, 88.
Okay, you try to turn, and you get caught in this 3-point turn, and you just feel the tire kind of get lunged into a rut on the side. This isn't particularly paved roads; they're just dirt roads, and you can feel the wheel kind of go down in one, and it slows you down, which means they're going to get a chance to do stuff. So one of them that you tried to shoot at is going to stand up, and he's going to fire into the vehicle. So let me roll to see which one of you he tries to attack. Okay, he's going to try to shoot at the driver. I'm going to roll with penalty die because you are inside a vehicle. So that's what this is going to be. So he's just going to start firing wildly towards the driver's side at this point. And so it's 35. Okay. So I'm giving you a penalty die. He failed on both, so he ends up. But I'll say like he shoots, and like you hear the sounds of gunshot go off. You see the crack in the glass, and you even see maybe on the dashboard or something explode, or one of the seats in the back gets hit by something. But no one actually gets hit by anything. Then let's see how many people walked out of the blue and yellow house. Okay, 2 people come running out of the blue and yellow house. And they're going to fire from a distance, kind of the same deal. So let's see. They're also going to be firing in the direction of the driver's side. I'm going to give them penalty die because they're firing from a distance. And not only that, but they're firing through a car in the dark, but we'll assume your headlights or something are on. So here we go. First shot. Okay, I missed on both again, but more gunfire goes off. And the second shot. Okay. All right. That's okay. Because it's a penalty die, it's another fail. So I actually rolled a 10 and a 90. So your car has now been hit by multiple bullets. However, you have been fortunate enough not to get hit by any of them. Bev, I'm going to give you a turn before we come back to see what Marie does with the car. What do you do, Marie?
While Marie is driving, Bev will take her own gun out, and presuming they shot through our back window, she'll turn and she'll also shoot out at them.
I'll say if you shoot at the one that the closest one, I'll say no penalty.
Yeah.
I'll say I just want a hard success to hit him because like you're shooting through windows and this and that. So just it'd be a hard success.
Okay.
Actually, no, I think it goes the other way around. So penalty die. Just do a penalty die.
Okay.
This is how people get tinnitus.
It's true.
Oh no. So my target goal is 20, by the way.
Okay.
With the penalty, even without the penalty,
You just wildly fire back. At the very least, it's like covering fire, suppressing fire. You just
that's kind of like the vibe of like maybe get this guy to like dive for cover or something.
But in that like academic shooting a gun kind of way of just like
a lot of bullets have just been exchanged.
With the 20 scope.
Yeah.
And none of them have actually hit any people just yet. Marie,
the
your
practical knowledge of reading versus actually shooting, very different.
Marie's going to try again with the drive.
Okay. I'll say because you already got it started, you can take a bonus die this time around since you've already kind of started it last time.
Ooh.
Oh boy. See, you thought you guys were safe.
I just said that in chat. Like we should have gone down inside and that would have been the safer thing. Sorry, I'm trying to... Oh, no, I can do simple math.
Major wounds who are on verge of dying are left alone by themselves in the street. I'm just saying.
Okay, so I rolled with the bonus die. I rolled a 25 under 40, so I'm going to spend a 5 luck to make that a hard success.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I see what you're doing.
I said that right?
What I will say is that because you spend the extra couple of points, I'll say you're able to essentially sort of fishtail a little bit. And the one guy who is close, you just sort of slam with the backside of the car, and you just hear, and as he smashes through the plank fence of the hacienda and is effectively knocked prone. And then you kick it into drive, and you start peeling away.
Yep.
Okay. I am going to let the other 2 get shots. I will give them penalty die, and I will say that they also would need a hard success to hit you since you have gotten a little bit more distance. So effectively what this means is I need to hit a 17 so for their particular skill. First one, one of them was good. One of them was an 8, but then the other one was a 68. And then the second one, and again, one of them was a 4. The other was a 94. So in both cases, the penalty that actually means that they miss. But you still hear more gunfire. But I will say, in that time, you can get away.
Okay.
We cut back inside. Yeah, go ahead, Bev.
I'll message Marie for when we come back to us.
Okay. Cut back inside. Pastor Wood has just gone down the tunnel. Everyone followed? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is, again, largely nondescript. Nothing really here. And eventually, Pastorwood, and those of you that are following, you notice that the tunnel continues into the darkness straight ahead. And it's just this long, straight tunnel. And you probably walked maybe, 50 yards. And even though it continues in the dark in the direction of where you think is the lot for the blue and yellow house, you do notice finally a break in the kind of the concrete walls here. As you see on your left, you can see that there is a double set of doors.
I would go up to the double doors and just put my ear, try to listen.
Give me a listen test.
I'm sorry, I meant that I would try to spot hidden.
Okay, give me a listen test.
Okay, that's a 23 under 60, so hard success.
Okay, excellent. And that is for listening, right? You didn't look at your spot hidden score, right?
No, it would have been extreme if I had done my spot hidden.
Ooh.
You hear the sounds very, very faint of a woman singing in Spanish.
Very quietly. Either it's a recording or this is the Ticia.
The door's open.
Very quietly. I try to gently open the door.
Okay. And they open without issue. They swing open, and you realize finally there's some light. And when they swing open, you see that they do so into what looks like some kind of control room. You can see like a for musical recording. You can see that all around are these various machinery, various like equipment, and Gomez will whisper like into your ear. He'll say, "Brooks took us here earlier. He said this is where they record their music. He seemed to be very cagey, and he was very controlling about where we looked." And you can see that in addition to all the like different recording equipment and control boards and what looks to be some kind of record pressing machine, you notice that there are two windows. So one off to the left. Think of the room almost like a pentagon in a way. And you can see off to the left, not your immediate left, but kind of your angled left, there is one window that appears to be shuttered, so you can't see through it. And then off to the right, in the same position, so it would be like a 2 o'clock or so on the clock, you can see another window, except this time this one is not shuttered, and you can see into what looks to be a recording studio. There are a couple what looks like running lamps, and you notice now as there's a little bit more light that there's a lot of these different electrical cables that you can see are running in the tunnels, or running to the recording studios, or running kind of all over the place. A lot of heavy duty electrical cables left and right. There's also a door straight ahead. So if you think about it, it's just like right at the 12 on the clock, like straight ahead. You can see this door. Just looks like a modest kind of door that you would put in a home. Doesn't look anything fancy to it. And that's what you see. And there doesn't appear to be anyone in here.
Even the one with the shutters that are open, I don't see anyone.
No one in here.
I would try to carefully, quietly, watching where I step, making sure that I give a wide berth to everything, that I'm not like clanking my pistol or my shotgun on a counter or anything like that, move towards the other window with the shutters. And I would look for whether it's the pull string or the twist and just try to gently open it.
Okay. So the one that's shuttered, there's a little hand crank. And so if you do so, so think of it like almost like these vertical slats. And the hand crank seems to open them up. And then you can push them if you would like. You can kind of see the open position from we'll call it Studio B. You're looking at, say, Studio A. And you open it up, and what you see inside is a modest size recording room. It definitely looks like there are, like, the walls, there's huge chunks of the walls that are covered with soundproofing panels. It's not, the studio itself is dark, but there's enough light in the control room flooding through the window that you're able to see some of this. You can see that there's a door to the right as you're looking in. It seems to sort of take it, that's the way you go in and out of the studio room. There's nothing, the control room itself that you're in does not directly go into that studio.
Maybe I missed it. Did you say where the singing was coming from?
So you rolled a hard success, right?
Yes.
You notice all above you and throughout, like on these ceilings. The ceilings aren't actually that high in this particular room, but 10, 12 feet maybe. You can see there's all these little crevices and things like that, and it looks like it's just sort of floating in through these little tubes and crevices and holes. It's all just wafting in. Maybe there's speakers somewhere embedded in the walls, maybe not, you're not sure, but it seems to be flooding down onto that.
Now that is strange. Why would a studio that's meant to be soundproof have sound specifically coming through the walls?
And Pedro Blanco says, well, this is actually the control room. The studio is through there, which is probably why it has these soundproofing panels. It is probably quite quiet in there. We did not inspect them, though.
Let's take a look ourselves.
Okay. Straight ahead, Patrick, you can see there is a door. I would say there's also... no, that's fine. So if you want to check the door straight ahead, if you kind of go up to it, you realize it isn't locked. So if you wanted to open it, the one straight ahead at the 12 position, the only other door in this room, if you kind of go up to it, it certainly opens. And you can push that open if you would like. As you're doing that, Shaima, what are you up to?
Trying to be silent and follow, so nothing particular. Just very on edge and alert.
Okay. All right, so Patrick, you push the door open, and you can see a short hall that is again, it's got that string of lights, like these light bulbs hanging up above, and you can see there's all these cables crisscrossing on the floor, some on the ceilings, and you can see that hanging there is like this singular, like kind of incandescent bulb, like right in the middle of the hall. It's not very long, and you can see that there are two doors on your left and on your right down this hallway. Small, basic doors, just like the one that you just pushed open. Straight ahead, however, you can see like a large steel door. It looks pretty heavy duty.
These side doors probably lead to the studio room. You can bypass them and just go straight forward.
Why do you think that door is so well protected?
Well, if we mapped out how we've been traveling underground, seems like it might be under the house.
Mr. Brooks, when he took us here earlier, he said that that he built the studio within some old ruin he had found, and that in order to protect it from his people coming and going, his workers and such, he had built this to protect them from going and looking. Again, he did not. This was one of the places that he was very reticent about us seeing.
If he doesn't want you to see it, I suppose that's where we should check out first.
True. He showed us the control room, and that is all.
I would gently try to open the door.
Before that, though, since we are moving inside, and now that we're right outside the studio door, is the singing getting louder, or is it more or less
not noticeably?
volume?
Not noticeably, no.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so Pastor Wood, do you try to open the steel door or one of the side doors?
Steel door.
Go up to the steel door and you realize it is locked.
Pedro,
I'm gonna try to help
you want to work your
muscle it
magic?
open.
If you want to try to muscle it, it would require a hard strength test.
Does someone want to try and more stealthily lockpick it first?
Is it locking the side
I'm
though?
sure muscling it will. We've already drawn attention to ourselves, but this definitely will.
So the door, I mean, it's a standard kind of handle with like complex lock on it. It's not like a fancy looking lock or anything like that. It's just the door looks very heavy duty is all. You can certainly try to break it down.
My
or you can
question was
locksmith it.
just if someone wanted to try to lockpick it first.
If I can borrow those tools, Pedro.
Yeah, you know how to pick locks, Mr. Price.
I've had my time.
You stealth
I
past
stand back
me.
and I face behind us with the shotgun.
He's like, you stealth past me, you break into places, and you are telling me you're not some sort of criminal. And he gives you a grin and he hands over the pack.
Let me find where my lockpick is again. It's only 31. Oh, good boy.
That's why things seem
Hand it back to
going so
Pedro.
poorly. Oh no.
Okay.
89.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna attempt to push it and probably
And
break
possibly
these two.
break his locksmith
Yeah.
tools. Yeah, that's gonna
No.
go great.
I would do it.
Okay, that'll boy.
31%.
Did
The
you-
locksmith is cursed.
You do bend down,
No, I'm
and
actually
all of a
above the
sudden,
bedroom.
you did fine. It's only Chris Patrick.
you just hear a snap, and Pedro is just Blanco is just, oh goodness, you're going to pay for that. But unfortunately, you have broken the locksmithing tools, and there is like a part of them has been left inside the lock.
All right, Chima, if you could bust this one
Yeah,
out.
I'm gonna try and.
Okay, strength, but it's. I need a hard success though. It's very heavy duty.
Okay.
You got this, Shima.
Yeah, let's see.
You would need to spend 13 luck to get that down to a hard success.
Yeah, sure. Why the hell not?
Okay.
Oh,
Risky.
gosh.
Risky.
It sounds like I don't have to do that pop 30 thing anyway.
You
Push.
don't.
There you
The
go.
push.
You don't.
No. Oh fuck! Maybe I
You
can.
could push if
Oh,
you wanted
no.
to try.
But it's an under 80, like
No, I need to get
Under
a
4 out
40.
of 10
though.
chance.
She needs to get a 40% or under. It's a hard success. This is required.
That's
Yeah.
that's a coin flip.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
It's less than a coin flip. 40% is not 50%. 10% is
I-
not
you know
an
what? No,
insignificant.
I
Same
want
thing.
this.
You
I want
always
this
land
to
heads.
work. I'm just gonna spend the fucking luck.
Okay.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shima, you see Patrick screw up, and like you see like Pedro's like scolding him, and then you just run up, lower the shoulder, and you're able to sort of bust it open. It is very loud, however, as it's a heavy steel door, and as it swings open, it's almost like a gong. Dong.
I figured it would be.
No, we had to.
And-
You're good.
And you look ahead, and you can see that there's a set of stairs that go down like 3 feet. It's like a stoop. But the chamber that you're looking at now is vastly different than where you've just been. Like everywhere you've been so far has looked very much like modern construction. Except this, however, you can see as though there's some stonework in here that looks centuries old. Just the way in which the build quality, the materials, like you're not entirely sure how much, but it very much looks to be it looks to be quite old. And it's very loud. There's nothing here. It's just like this big empty space. Actually, there's no one here on the other side. You see that there's a wall on your left, and then you can see that there is a like eventually it kind of comes to a small corner on your left-hand side, but off to your right, it just expands into darkness. You think you see anyone peeking out. You think you see some stairs or at least an opening over to like the northeast of this very large chamber. It's almost as if like, think of it like this huge old ancient ruin. And he built within the middle of it this modern little series of buildings. But otherwise, like there's this big kind of arched chamber, and you can see like, in addition to all of the various materials are very clear, there's also occasionally like almost like a decorative frieze or this or that has long since been like, sort of damaged by time or just by water or something like that. But you can definitely get a different vibe as you move through here. What do you do?
There must be something in there that we're missing. Why would there be such a heavy door to nothing?
This room looks sick. There's only a way down, though. Shall I proceed or look around?
Let's look through these booths real quick. Whatever these rooms are that he built.
Okay. As you turn around to go do that, Gomez gets in your face, Pastor Wood, and almost kind of quietly, if there's anyone here, they would likely have heard that.
What do you suggest? That we go back out the way we came?
I'm just saying, the element of surprise perhaps has been lost to us now.
You want to rush in?
I am just saying, we crashed this door open, and now we turn around and we're going to take our time and start peeking through other rooms. Is this the way of the Texas Rangers?
Well, lead the way then. I say that a little bit louder when I've been so careful this whole time.
Listen, you son of a bitch, you just kicked the fucking door open, and then you're like, I'm going to turn around now. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, jeez.
I'll leave those downstairs
I'm the stupid one. Yes. So what do you do, Patrick?
Take the way down the stairs.
So there's a couple steps out of this hall that you just knocked open. And when you're in your boots or whatever it is you're wearing hit the ground like 3 steps later, you are on this uneven stone. And you can see that it's not like all singular blocks, but there's all these different twists and turns of blocks. And what you can notice is that the chamber extends in a lot of different directions, but off to the northeast, as you start to move in, assuming you have a flashlight or something like that, you can see to the northeast what appears to be an archway and stairs going down. Off to the left, kind of to the northwest, you can see that this modern building, there is like a little bit of a curve, like there's like a corner, as if like just a flat area, like this chamber kind of extends a little bit further to your west, and that's what you see.
This keeps going down. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
Okay. So you come up and Patrick, as you're out in front now, and you can see these stairs. They're broad, they're stone. You can see they're paved, they're somewhat chipped, and they're multicolored. And they're all leading down. And you can see that at a certain point, as you hold up the flashlight and you look down them, they turn and they disappear like around like a redirection. So it's like these heavy, thick, old stone stairs. Like you're in something that this wasn't recently crafted. Like it's like you almost feel like you've stepped into like an old temple or an old ruin or just an old construction of some kind as you're moving down. And you hear, Patrick, the sound of a woman's voice coming up from those dark stairs going down.
That voice from earlier. I hear it down here.
Let's go get her.
Okay. If you continue to descend, you will eventually come to go down one floor and then kind of another, and you find yourself at this point, like it feels like you were maybe 4 stories underground, maybe 5. Like you've gone down a significant distance, and you come to a landing where the stairs don't go down any further, and it's this wide, and it kind of opens up onto this relatively wide stone chamber. You can see the ceiling has this kind of arch to it, and you can still, and the sounds of the music is even higher and higher at this point. You hear the woman singing, and up ahead, as you land on the stairs, and again, you haven't seen anyone. You're looking around, and everything's fairly dark down here. But you do notice that up ahead, just a few steps, there's a couple of lights, torches, sconces, something like that on the walls. And you see that this huge arch chamber, something out of antiquity, right? And you can see these multicolored mosaic that's just sort of sweeping across the floor. It's like, it's beautiful, if aged, because it definitely feels like some of the paint has faded. You can see that the room up ahead, this huge chamber, this kind of circular chamber, there appears to be some statues that are around the room in these almost like kind of cardinal directions in a way. And in the song, and like I guess that's probably all you could see unless you step into that chamber.
It's only one way in. Let's keep moving.
Shotgun up. Step in.
Okay. So you go a little further in, and now we'll say you're inside that large chamber. And when you look up, you realize the ceiling is quite high above. More than likely, you can see what looks like the residue of probably a mirrored, kind of a mirrored surface, in the sense of like what you see on the floor, this beautiful, colorful, now faded mural is almost kind of repeated up at the ceiling, but it's a little bit more patchy, as like some of the ceiling has crumbled away, and you don't really actually see the structure anymore. You can see that there's 4 identical looking statues on various compass points that are all, they're standing probably about 10 feet tall, but there is like a pedestal on which they're all standing to kind of increase that height there a little bit, so they're not like, the statues themselves aren't 10 feet. All of them are like leering and peering into the chamber. Pastor Wood, as you're looking around, you notice 2 things. First, you notice that there are various crates that have been kind of haphazardly stacked in different locations within this chamber. And you also notice that seeping out of the stone in some places is this orange ooze. I need you to roll a sand test.
It's a good time to fail, right?
Oh, gosh.
16 under 52.
Okay. You recognize this substance. You feel it kind of pulling at you. You're able to resist, but it's at the cost of a point of sanity, as you just feel like yourself suppressing this desire to just reach out towards it. So that's what you see. Crates, statues. You see that off to the east side of the chamber, there seems to be an archway heading out in that direction, and then also on the south side, a complete opposite side of where you just came in, there seems to be another archway leading out of this chamber. But this is quite large. Like, this is quite a circular, large chamber. What do you guys want to do?
Help me out here, and I head towards the crate.
Okay. Gomez comes with you. He's like, we did not see this place before.
This might be some of your evidence here. Help me pop this open.
So yeah, you pop it open. Give me a luck test.
My luck is actually doing pretty good today. 7 under 44.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
As you pop it open, you realize it's a crate that is filled with dozens of vials that you've seen before, and all of them appear to be filled with nectar.
This distribution, if anything. Do you need to take some of
Yes.
these for evidence?
Yes, I think that will help us. We still need to convince my superiors that nectar is as bad as we say it is.
Well, I grab a handful of them, say like 4 or 5 of them, hand them off to him. Then I grab 4 and put them in my own pocket.
Are you trying to do this without him noticing or without Shima or Patrick noticing?
No, I'm just trying to frame it in like we're taking evidence.
Sure. Okay. We'll say we do that. No problem. Shima and Patrick, what are you two doing?
Oh, that's a good idea. And I will take a few vials, 2 vials, and put them in my own pocket.
Okay.
And either history or occult, does it give me anything on these statues?
Archaeology or anthropology would.
Yeah, I don't have either.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I would have liked to do.
You can roll in education, but I would need a hard success to be able to get anything out of this.
Okay.
I would also take up biology, but that was for something else because there's some stuff on it. This has been a perfect room for Bev.
8.
An 8. Okay.
I know. I'm like, go figure. The anthropologist.
I see your
is
hard
not there.
success raise you an extreme success.
So what I'll say is that you probably don't know the specific name, but you think this is an Aztec god. You're not sure which one it is per se, because it's not an anthropology role, but you think you remember maybe seeing like an image of something like this in a book you have read, and some of the stuff that you maybe saw in Jonathan Brooks's Barbant and such might suggest that this is like some sort of Aztec god, and they appear to be in some kind of intense state of joy or like altered consciousness in some fashion, like the type of state you might be in should you have consumed some kind of substance to help create that altered state, like a peyote or an ayahuasca or something like that. And they just all have this sort of sense of ecstasy as they look into the room itself.
And are they humanoid faces, or are they more animalistic?
They are humanoid-ish, but you can definitely tell they are not like perfectly. They don't look like humans. They look like they're altered, and they're they're caricatured in a certain way, and like you can see there's certain features on them that.
Yeah, no, I can visualize like ancient religious statues. India's like littered with them. So, all right, sweet. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I'm doing.
Patrick, what are you doing?
I'll push across the room to get a better idea what's at the other end.
Okay. So so if you go on the other end, that's the south side. You can see that there is like a ramp that seems to descend into darkness.
And there's something else on the eastern corner?
There's like another archway exit out of this chamber.
Take a peek on the archway instead.
Okay. You look down the ramp, you can't really see anywhere. It doesn't seem to, you're not sure where it goes in the darkness. You swing around past where Pastor Wood and Gomez and Blanco are going through these crates. And you go over to the eastern side and you can see that there is a long arch tunnel, heads eastward. And you can see, again, very dark. You can see the ancient structure. Like you are in some antique structure. You don't know what this is. Ceilings aren't quite as high, but they're still fairly high. Give me a spot hidden test, since you're not going down the tunnel. But give me a spot hidden.
2651.
Okay. You notice that about halfway down the tunnel, there looks to be some kind of like mechanism, some sort of like machinery, not like metallic, but you can tell it looks like there's some of it's hanging from the ceiling, some of it's on the side of the tunnel, and then you can't quite see beyond it.
I'll get closer to the machinery, try to get a better idea.
Okay. So you start moving down the tunnel. Pastor Wood, Shima, what are you two doing?
Does it look like there's anything in these crates other than nectar?
You start going through some others. You find vials. Most of the crates you can tell are empty. Empty of like the empty vials, like they're not filled. But you do find like maybe 2 of the crates have dozens of vials of nectar in them. You have been getting a lot of information that suggests that Brooks hasn't been producing as much or has been shutting down production or has like changed his focus to music as opposed to nectar production, that kind of stuff. But you do see there's still some nectar left. And there's about a dozen crates in here, kind of haphazardly scattered, but only about 2 of them are actually filled with product.
If they all look like they're the same sort of size, shape, and all that, then I would move on. I want to be digging through everything.
Okay.
Just be ready to push forward.
Okay. So, and Shima, what about you?
Nothing else particularly. I was the most interesting thing was looking at the stashes, which I've done.
Okay. So if you follow Patrick, we'll say the 3 of you and your policeman friends continue down the tunnel. Let's check back in briefly with Beverly and Marie. You have driven away from the house. You have no means with which to communicate with your friends inside.
Sure don't.
You have almost every window in your car has either been shattered or it has like bullet holes in them. What do the 2 of you want to do?
Oh, should we just try to like kind of drive around a corner a bit and see if maybe we can get an eye on where they might be running off to?
Oh, like see if they're gonna still continue to chase us or if they stop or not?
Yeah. See if they're gonna like get into a vehicle that maybe we could try to follow or something like that.
Yeah.
So you want to try to drive back around to the site? Sorry, Bev, go ahead.
If like logistically, would it make us would things be over if we like left the scene and then to like get back up, because there are cops here with us and there was a shooting? Like how far away would we have to travel to like get to a phone?
You're not in the neighborhood that seems particularly welcoming. Remember that you're in a section of a neighborhood that seems fairly...
that's what I was wondering.
So if you wanted to drive away, you could drive to the precinct. You know where the precinct is. You've both been there. You can drive there. I'm not trying to discourage it. Please don't interpret it that way. I'm just throwing this out there because it might be something that one of you would consider, is that both Blanco and Gomez kind of showed up. They didn't have their badges on. They didn't have their uniforms on. Like you get the sense that, so like, it's the question.
That's
of,
a good point. Yeah, this wasn't an official.
And it might be, but it's up to you all to weigh whether that's more important than what just happened. Like that's for you all to figure out. So
I think
I'm just throwing that out there.
Regardless of that, we would still like pull off somewhere and make sure that we're not still being tailed. So like, right? Or like maybe find some place to like obscure the car, turn the lights off.
You're rolling to roll spot hidden to see if anyone followed you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Either one of you could do
definitely. I've got 72 spot hidden.
Oh, go for it, girl.
Very nice.
11.
Okay. You are quite confident no vehicles followed you. No one was even really close to vehicles. Because you see everyone was on foot, and like the vehicles might have been parked behind the blue and yellow house, as far as you know. Like you didn't see them getting into any vehicles, and like you pull off to the side in an alley a few blocks away, and you like wait to see if anyone passes. You turn the lights off or something like that. You kind of just peek. No one passes. Like a good 10 minutes go by. Nothing. You're pretty sure no one followed you. So with that in mind, I know it's weird. I know, but what do you think Marie and Bev would do in this sort of situation?
So I think like we want to be safe, but we want to be helpful. So I think like Marie would want to like, okay, it seems like we weren't followed, and then do the less smart thing of like seeing if we can wind our way back around, kind of on the other side, and see if we can see if they're getting into a vehicle, see if they're leaving, see if there's anyone for us to try to tail, anything like that.
Okay.
And making sure that we're still somewhat close by if we see them running out, that we need to help them.
Okay. So if you're going to drive back up from a different angle, it's fine. Let's give me a stealth test. I know you're in a car, but it's sort of this, it's more like, or you could do drive. Like I would take drive too, in this case, but it's the idea of trying to come at this location from a perspective that wouldn't be easily seen, or to be careful about it.
Okay. I'm going to grab 2 audience boosts. Thank you to our generous audience. This will be an under 60. Stealth and drive are the same for me. So, come on, dice. Come on, dice. That's a lolly and a 3. So that is a 3 under 60.
That's an extreme success.
Oh, wow.
I will say
Yay.
that you come, you loop around. And so we'll say, like, when you first arrive, we'll say, like, maybe you went up San Pedro, and, like, you were right there, like, you drove, like, because the houses themselves are on San Pedro, and the Hacienda is, like, right where Montezuma intersects it, and there's, like, a T-section. But there's, like, the Avenue Miguel Hidalgo, that's, like, the next road over. And so maybe you come up that for a bit, which allows you to drive up in a way, seeing the rear of the house, and you can see that there are 2 vehicles parked in the back. You don't see anybody getting into them. You see that there's lights on in the house, and then as you start to coast past very carefully in the dark, maybe you flip the headlights off and you just coast past, and you come to where San Pedro is. You peer down it, and that's the street that you just had this incident on about 10 minutes ago. You don't see anything any longer. I'll roll over your spot hidden. You don't get the sense there's anybody out front doing anything in particular. You do see there's people. There's to be 2 people over by the Hacienda. Without kind of turning down San Pedro, I'll still roll over the test because it looks like one of them, like, they're smoking cigarettes and things like that. And so you can kind of see those lights. There's 2 people waiting outside the ruin. But you would also see that there are people in the house, but not that many. Like, there's not a lot of activity around the house at all. There's maybe 1 or 2 people around the house.
How far away were those cars from the people who are outside?
It's in the back of the house.
Okay.
So the people that you saw outside are over by the ruined hacienda, which is essentially like a neighboring lot. Think of it like big lots, and it's on the neighboring lot, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they put the padlock on the cellar door thing and just are standing guard there, smoking.
Yep.
I'm good to stay put where we are. If you're good, we can keep an eye on things. They don't seem to have noticed us.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just keep
sitting here at the lights.
Keep an eye and ear out to see if we need to start, like, making a distraction or something.
Okay.
All right. We'll cut back inside to Patrick. Patrick, as you get closer to that machinery, you notice that the tunnel, which still continues in the distance, you do see that there is a large, like, pit or a break in the tunnel up ahead that seems to be blocking a path forward, just like a big gap. The tunnel continues on the other side, and when you shine the light, you can see eventually it comes to an end, and you can see that there's like another chamber at the far side of the tunnel. But there is this large pit between you and the other side of the tunnel. That is like a good, 20 feet, maybe or so. And the machinery, there's some of it's hanging down from above. You can see like these little pulley systems and things hanging from the ceiling above the pit. And you can see that there's all this other stuff, like a gear here, a chain there, and like a board of some kind. All of that's kind of there as well. You also hear the voice of that woman's voice is getting kind of louder at this point, and you can tell that, like, the song has shifted. It's a different song at this point. It's kind of whereas the previous one just sort of felt like a little kind of soft and sad. This one just feels like almost trippy. Like it's just sort of some strange, like distant, weird combinations of her voice, like octaves that kind of resonate off one another in a manner that just sounds and feels bizarre. What would you like to do, Patrick? You're up in front.
Take a look over the edge of the pit. See if I can see the bottom of it.
You take the light, you look down the pit. You look down, and there's a large shaft that goes about 30 feet deep. And as you shine the light down there, you notice that at the bottom, there is a massive swollen mouth with hundreds of teeth and tongues that are sort of lolling around like a snake orgy. And you can see that it's on top of this huge mound of flesh. And it's all within this shallow pool of nectar. I need you to roll a sanity test as you look down there.
Alrighty. I do have underlying insanity at 39 say it.
And
So
you
here we go.
haven't lost a single point of sanity the entirety of Mexico City. Because losing 1 point of sanity would trigger.
Does passing on the 23 help?
It does, because it means instead of taking a much larger amount of sanity loss, you only take 1. But it's an automatic sanity loss for seeing this thing.
Oh, fuck!
So, what this means...
I become fixated on it, and I have a bout of madness.
So yeah, you trigger. It triggers a bout of madness. You lose all self-control. No, wait. Actually, this is. Hang on. Where are we? You have what? Indefinite?
Yeah, or underlying.
Yeah, you have an underlying insanity. So let's make sure we do this right, because someone's gonna die here in a minute. So it occurs after madness ends. Okay, you're in a fragile state of mind. Any further loss. Make sure we do this right, because I sent this to you a couple weeks back, but I totally forgot the rules now. Okay. So I think we just rip a bout of madness. So let's do. I think I have them built in. Let's roll 1. Okay.
Lasts for D10 rounds, apparently.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to. That doesn't really make sense in this case. So I'm going to roll a different one. Okay. Okay. I think this one makes much more sense. Okay. So, psychosomatic disability. The investigator suffers a psychosomatic blindness, deafness, or loss of the use of a limb or limbs for a number of rounds. You rolled it as a 6, so that's what we're going to do instead of what's listed there. So we're going to say for the next 6 rounds, you feel like this numbness wash over you as you look down at this thing. And as you're watching it, the largest of the tongues just begins to unfurl from that giant tangle and starts to slither up that shaft. Pastor Wood, Shima, and the cops, you're a little bit further behind. And you see Patrick just kind of leaning over the side. And he just kind of folds and crumbles a bit. And so it's like, but his body, his head, his torso is just leaning over the edge of the pit, looking down. The song is continuing to waft forward, but Patrick just becomes like this complete numb, limp thing at the edge of this pit. What do you two do?
I would rush over to Patrick and
Me too.
Put a hand on him, but honestly, I'd be looking over the pit to see what it was.
I'm not
Okay.
looking over the pit. I'm trying to get him up.
Okay. So two, you come running over. All right. I want to, before I see, so in terms of resolution, let's do, what's your dex scores?
70.
So we're going to put this in a specific order. So 70 for
60.
Wood. Okay, 60 for Shima. Patrick, what do you got?
A 60.
60 for Patrick. And then we've got the thing.
The thing.
Sorry, let me
Good
get
film.
it. It's a great film. Love it.
Reading rules.
Awesome movie.
Okay. Good news is it's not going to get to go first. And then the cops are also, everyone's at freaking 60. So the cops are also at 60. Okay. Wood, you lean over. And you see this massive mouth. You see this giant tongue with all these tiny little mouths and tooths and sphincters all along the side is moving up the side of this shaft like a snake crawling up the wall. I need you to roll a sand test.
All right, my SAN is 51, and I rolled an 84.
Okay.
Oh, crap.
It's
You
what I
lose-
would have done. He would have immediately looked over.
6 points of sanity loss.
Oh, that's not good.
Jesus.
So 6 points of sanity loss is more than 5. And so 5,
Not by
I
much, though,
believe.
so I don't think it counts.
Degrees
You
of
suffer-
over 5.
Temporary insanity. So it occurs when you lose 5 or more sanity points.
Can I
Okay.
push it off on a bond?
I know. That's the problem. I always get the two games confused. Okay. So you need to roll an int test to see if you have a bout of madness or not. You want to fail.
And this is where I want to fail, but I've got an int of
Exactly.
80 because I'm a smart man.
Are you? All evidence to the contrary.
I rolled a 30, so I passed.
Okay, so because
Aw.
you've passed, the investigator recognizes the significance of what you're looking at and what's happening, and you go temporarily insane for 1d10 hours. Go ahead and roll d10.
Hours?
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Just reading right here. man.
3 hours. We'll see y'all later.
Okay, so there's two phases.
Y'all on the
to
other
this.
side.
There's a bout of madness, and then there's the underlying insanity that happens after the bout of madness. So during the bout of madness, you lose self-control for a short time. I get to control your character, so we have 2 people suffering a bout of madness right now, and I get to dictate your actions, etc. The investigator cannot lose additional sanity during this bout. So both Pastor Wood and Patrick Price, hey, good news. However, and this lasts for 1d10 combat rounds. Patrick rolled a 6. Pastor, you can go ahead and roll yours.
4.
Okay, so you have 4 rounds. I'll count this round as 1 for both of you. So
You're so
you,
generous.
and then let me double check something really fast. Oops. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll your bout of madness as you see this thing. See what we got. It's one that actually makes sense. No, that one doesn't really apply here. Let's try a different one. Okay, I think this sort of makes sense. This can make sense. Okay. Significant person. So you review your backstory for a significant person. You mistake somebody else in the scene for that significant person. So whether maybe you think Patrick's like Obadiah, whether you think Shaima is like Carmela or Elena, or whatever it might be, this is effectively like the bout of madness you start to have. So how does that look?
I
do you think?
Kind of split there. Like, of the people in the group, the one that he would expect to be like the child figure to him would be Shaima. So I think he would see Shaima as Obadiah.
Okay. So you look back. So like you're over top of this. You see that snake thing coming up, and you kind of turn around and you can see Shaima has like grabbed on probably to like Patrick and is getting ready to pull him away. All right. Shaima, you trying to pull Patrick away from the ledge?
That's exactly right. Because I'm not looking down at the pit. I just know there is a pit.
No, go ahead. Roll strength test. I'm just teasing. It's not. Like you just collapsed and he nearly fell over. Okay.
8 under 80.
You just drag him right away from the edge, and like even though you drag him, you do, and he's away from the edge, like you roll him over and he's just kind of his arms just kind of flop this way, his limb just sort of flops that way. Like you can tell he's just in this sort of state of numbness. So Patrick, I'm gonna say that's how, like you can role play it, but like the idea is for the next couple of rounds you are just like your body seems to have just gone numb on you in some way.
Take a look,
All right.
Shaiba. It's fascinating.
What? Get up! Wait, get up! You have to stand up!
I can't feel my limbs, but you must take a look.
No, you have to stand. Did I do this to you? I didn't do this to you. Get up! You have to stand up! And she's trying to lift him up and get him to
Pretty much noodles, so I'm
stand
just
on his
collapsing
feet.
after
Yeah.
she picks me up.
I figure he's just like limp in my arms.
Okay. So you have like you have him cradled in Pastor Wood. You turn back, you're right at the edge, and you can see like there Shaima has like started to cradle Patrick, but she's so close to the edge of this thing. She's in this ridiculously dangerous place. What the hell is she doing here? The cops will run up. Like, what is it? What the hell is wrong? What's happening here? What the hell is down there?
I don't know. He won't stand.
Okay, so Gomez will reach down and try to help you get Patrick to his feet. And then Blanco will go to Pastor Wood. And as Pastor was like looking down, looking over, looking down, Blanco will come over to the edge and he will also look down and he'll go, oh, as he will completely and utterly freak the hell out. Where did my dice just go? Am I losing my mind? I had like all these dice right here. Oh, there they are. Okay. Like,
make a sand check.
Oh, that means we all.
I just really lost my mind for a minute. I'm like, where'd they go? Okay. So I'm going to have him, I'm going to see if he can keep it together for a moment. He does. He passes his sand effectively. So he loses a point of sand, but he's like, what is that thing? And he's just like, you and like Pastor Wood, he's trying to talk to you, but you're just fixated at this point on Shaima. And like, what the hell is she doing here? Why is she here? She's not supposed to be here. And then Gomez is starting to try to pick up Patrick. What this means is that there's two people at the ledge. So I'm going to roll a 50-50 really fast here. So Pastor Wood, I'm going to say you're 100 to 50, and 51 to 100 is Blanco. It is 25. So Pastor Wood, you're going to be attacked by this tongue that lunges out. It's been slithering up the side, and now it slashes out at you. It attempts to do this. I'm going to say, because you're having a bout of madness, I'm under control. You're fixated. You're staring at Shaima. It's just going to straight up attack you. Like maybe Pastor Wood like turns away from the pit and just yells out at Shaima, "Obi, God damn it, son! What in tarnation are you doing here?" Right as the tongue is coming up from behind.
It's not responding because she is not Obi.
The tongue suddenly appears and slashes down. And like at the last second, Pastor Wood, Blanco's like, move! And he kind of pushes you off to the side, so you stumble out of the way, as I actually missed. As the tongue slashes down and tries to hit the two of you, I roll an 80 in it, and you can see some of the ground slithers and slathers with all this different ooze, and you can see these little drippings and droppings of nectar. At this point, Shaima, I'm going to hold off on the sand test for now because you haven't seen it in its full entirety, but you know there's something down there as it begins to pull back over the edge. Okay, new round. Patrick, Pastor, go ahead and toggle down your bouts of madness one more, and we start with Wood. So with the notion in mind that you think Shaima is Obi, and you're really not even paying attention maybe to your own safety here. You just kind of got pushed off to the side a little bit by Blanco, and you can see that there's Shaima struggling with Gomez to try and get Patrick up. What would you do, Pastor Wood? What do you think?
I think he wouldn't be caring about Patrick, wouldn't be caring about Gomez. He would just go and like try to like tackle Obi and like just pull him away, get him as far away as possible.
Okay, I think that's great.
Probably cursing at him at the same time.
We'll say go ahead and roll brawl as you kind of come over. I'm assuming Shaima's not going to let this happen, especially since Shaima
what the hell? What are you doing? What?
So Shaima, you can roll dodge, you can fight back, but you're gonna have a penalty die because you've been trying to get Patrick up, so your hands are kind of full.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and dodge because I have no idea what is happening. I'm not trying to hurt Pastor Wood.
Okay.
I failed with a 69 over 61. Nice.
Nice.
Would this be like the thing where I would like spend luck? Since I'm having the bout of madness.
No, I don't see any reason. We don't need to kill your luck. I'm just gonna say you lunge out to try to like dive at her and pick her up, but
I succeed on the dodge with a 54, but I'm not sure if I need to beat.
He didn't even succeed, so you're good. Like the dodge would only come into play if he succeeded on his attack. So like he lunges at you, and you very deftly kind of step to the side by still holding on to Patrick, and he just kind of pushes past you, and then like as he's trying to scoop you up.
Obi, what in your cornbread ain't done in the middle? What are you doing here?
Obi's not here. Obi's not here. It's me, Shaima.
This whole time he's like grabbing onto like your shirt or whatever, just like trying to pull with whatever handhold he can get on your arm, and he honestly would just start cursing at himself, like just not even saying anything coherently at this point, because he would not tolerate any sort of backsass from his son not listening to him.
Shami is thoroughly confused and trying to like get you off without hurting you.
And Shami, it's your turn. So what action would you want to take?
Jesus Christ. Okay, can you help me understand the scene a little bit better? So I'm trying to help Patrick up on his feet with Gomez, and Password is like manhandling me, trying to push me away from the ledge.
He's like trying to almost like kind of pick you up and carry you away, but like you're just sort of pushing him off, stiff arming him down. Patrick, think of it like he's really, really blackout drunk. He's conscious, but he's babbling in, this something about something being beautiful, but he's essentially like blackout drunk. And like you and Gomez, like you have him, he's got, Gomez has got one side, you got the other, but like Patrick is just sort of just hanging there limply like a puppet.
Okay. I am gonna try and basically back away, still holding Patrick, like trying to put some distance between me and Password. But I'm trying to drag Patrick back away from the pit.
Okay. Yeah, drag him away. That's fine. And I'll say Gomez is probably helping you, so the two of you are just dragging him away. No problem. And Patrick, you're limp. So is there anything you're babbling or saying while this is happening?
Go take a look. You must look. Just trying to convince them to look over the edge. That's about it.
I'm going to roll a test by Gomez to see if he listens to you.
No! Oh, gosh.
That's a 95, so that's probably bad, right? So yeah, I probably should have set terms ahead of time, right? Okay. And so we'll say, because the cops are next, so Gomez will be like, do you have him? Do you have him?
I think so.
Okay, and so he will let go, and he will go to the edge where Blanco has just pushed Pastor away.
No.
And he looks down, and he's like, whoa! And so he's kind of staring down at this thing, and so I'm going to roll a sand test for him. Where'd my deck go? Yeah, he passed. Okay, so he also held it together. These cops are sturdy of mind.
Nice.
So he's like, what is this? And he like starts muttering a prayer, like just to God. As unbeknownst to you all, the tongue is slithering back up. However, before that happens, Pastor Wood probably not so much, maybe just yet, but Shima, you might hear the sounds of several footsteps, and you hear the sounds of guns cocking. And as you're dragging Patrick past, you look over and you see the back the way you came, standing right there in the archway, or what look to be 8 different people. You can see what looks to be a very slender, colorfully dressed Caucasian man with a very Johnny Depp vibe. And you can see he's got like a puffy ascot, pistol in his hand. You can see standing next to him is probably about a 6'5" Russian. You don't know he's Russian, but he's about 6'5" Caucasian man with a close cut military haircut. And he's got a gun in his hand. And flanked on either side of them are a handful of men and women, each with guns, a couple of whom have these big Thompson machine guns. And the Johnny Depp lookalike speaks up and says, I feel like such a terrible host. I should have welcomed you. And then, almost as if, like on cue, every one of the people standing next to him ready their guns, face them down this tunnel in your direction. And as we cut from that, we just hear the sounds of gunfire go off. And that's where we're going to end for tonight. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Are you
What's up,
sure
guys?
you don't want to go for like 20 more minutes?
We can't. We're like, it's 2 hours, 50 minutes. We just can't. Like, we got to stop at some point.
I
wanted to
love
try to
that
finish
Ashley struggled to turn her mic on so she could talk and then wasn't able to say anything.
Yeah. Hey, at least it's not TPK.
Oh,
I can't believe you put Obi in danger, though. Like, to throw him in that dungeon is just...
I didn't put him in danger.
That's uncalled
You're his
for.
father. You're his father. You're the one who brought him
We all
down
know
here
I'm a bad
with
father.
You brought him down here with you. Oh, boy. All right. Well, that's the end of the Eternal Lives campaign.
People, the people with 10 hit points and 3 major wounds between them.
It was close, though. They were in
I'm a
trouble.
12.
Like, they were in serious trouble for a second there.
Seriously. I love that we're all in like our own hot water. So like everybody is equally as fucked as everyone else.
Oh, no. You guys are really, really in trouble right now. To the point where I'm going to, over the next couple of weeks before our next session, you should all work on backup characters. Bev and Marie,
Oh no.
you guys are okay for now. You guys are okay for now. You guys are in a lot of trouble. Anyhow, that's where we're at.
Gosh.
Hope you guys didn't like your characters. We have a couple weeks to get new character art and stuff done, so that's good too. It's fine. The reason I'm saying this is because a couple of us are going to Gen Con. So we won't have Eternal Lies next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks for what will be the finale, one way or the other, of Mexico City. And it might be one bloody effing finale as they put the old Trixie on you guys. Okay, so let's do some closing plugs and we'll get on out of here. Let's go ahead, as we always do, Stephen, asking you to be quiet for a moment. And turn the attention over to My Tray. My Tray, tell us where we can find you on the internet.
Jesus Christ. I'm
Cheese and crackers.
mostly still alive and my
Watch your language, Obi.
Do not take
I'm
away.
multiplayer games on YouTube where I make system agnostic or multi-system content where tabletop set centers achievement placements.
Fantastic. Stephen, I feel that you might have a few announcements you would like to share.
First announcement I'd like to share is that you all should be on the Lollygagger Discord because there's a lot of cool people there. And I post a lot of funny GIFs. That is not GIFs, it is GIFs. And I will die on that hill. And we post a lot of all the handouts go there, all the GIFs go there, the inside jokes go there. There's really no reason not to hang out there, especially because I run sessions of my new tabletop RPG Huckleberry on that Discord, and you can come play it. Huckleberry is a Weird West action horror game. If you like action horror games, kind of like how some of our Delta Green Call of Cthulhu sessions can be, you'll like Huckleberry. And in fact, I believe I can announce that it will premiere on this channel relatively soon, in just a couple weeks.
Yeah,
And it'll actually be run by someone else on the screen right now. Who could that be?
Stepping up. He's stepping up, this guy. He's done it before. Coming in with his combat maps on the back of a Domino's box.
Those were the days.
Those were the days, dude. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
goodness.
Jeff will be running our first, the premiere of Huckleberry. So that's really exciting. Thank you, Jeff. That's awesome that you're willing to do that. And that'll be happening relatively soon. And it premieres the game launches August 1st at Gen Con, and it'll be on Drive-Thru-RPG. So check it out when it comes out. You can go to huckleberryrpg.com to get more info.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. As for us, next game, and our last game before we take a brief break because of Gen Con, next Monday, a couple days from now, you'll see me, Melissa, and Maitre. We're playing through some more Fried Empire. No game on Tuesday because Steven hates us. And then no games on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday next week because a few of us on the screen right now will be in Gen Con. So we can't play. And so our next game after that will probably be Alien the following Monday. And we'll probably be back in 2 weeks with more Eternal Lies. So thank you for everyone hanging out. Thank you for those of you who are listening or watching this later on podcast or on YouTube. We really do appreciate it. And if you're going to Gen Con and you happen to bump into any of us, say hi and, play some Huckleberry. It'd be a lot of fun. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and raid our buddies over at Tales of Myth and Mayhem. They are playing through some Vampire the Masquerade. So let's go say hi to them. And have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
I'll be seeing you.
Bye.